This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1892. Previews. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. I reviews. Wow. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Ian Levesine.
I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Adam Murdo.
And I'm Chris Everly. Comic Geek Speak. Gentlemen, you complete me.
I got a little bit of zoinks in the voice tonight, so clearly that squeakiness is going to be fun.
Zoinks, hey Scoob.
Oh my God. Welcome, one and all, to the show. Previews time yet again here, gentlemen, as we approach the end of the month, and we make sure that you guys get your picks in before said month is done. Looking forward to talking about it. We got previews 414, DC Connect issue 34, and Marvel previews like volume 6 issue 18, because that's hard to remember.
I miss the days when it was all in one place.
I hear you.
And I swear this one gets thinner and thinner every month.
It does, yeah. As more and more people, I feel like, go elsewhere for their solicitations.
Well, I'm soon going to have to get a magnifying glass just to read previews of DC Connect.
Oh,
Good heavens.
I love Grumpy Shane. Oh, God, I missed you.
The dual page stuff, man. We're not even there yet, and I'm already harumphing it.
What did those kids get off of, guys?
Arlong!
And meanwhile, we thank you, the listeners, over at
Because you're awesome!
Because you're awesome, and you keep these curmudgeons a-rolling, and for as little as $1 a month, you throw your support our way. There's now a RSS feed for the Patreon for whenever we get a chance to throw either early releases or extra audio your way. That will now be a feature for anybody who is donating to the Patreon, $1 a month or more. So you can go ahead and select that if you so desire. We thank you so much for your continued support. Patreon.com/comicgeekspeak, or my personal Patreon, patreon.com/comictiming for the producing needs, and all that fun stuff. Or just, send us an iTunes review or let a friend know about the show. That's just as important as donations.
Hear, hear.
Excellent. Also, just a quick note, anybody who uses the forums, we are aware that they are currently down for most people, not down for other people, all depending on whatever cookies you happen to have on your computer. It's weird. It's complicated. That's life. We are addressing the issue, and Mr. Deemer is on the case, and hopefully we will have a resolution to that within the next few days. So anybody who listening to this and wondering why they cannot access the comic forums at the moment, that is why. So stay tuned. And we thank you very much for hanging in there. And we thank you very much for submitting your best ofs, compliments of Mr. Murd, putting all those answers together. And Murd, how much more time did I have?
Well, Ian, as we're recording this, all of you folks listening at home will have a little over a week left to submit your votes for the final winners of the Best of Awards this year. The deadline for that will be April 2nd. It's a Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The ballot can be found on the CGS supergroup on Facebook, or if you're one of those people lucky enough to have the right flavor of cookie on your browser to get to thecomicforums.vanillacommunity.com, it's posted there as well. Just check out everybody who's nominated in the 16 categories. Vote for one and only one nominee in 12 out of those 16 categories. You don't need to vote for one of everything, but we do ask that you vote for something in 3/4 of the categories. type those votes out in an email and send it to bestof@comicgeekspeak.com by 11:59 Eastern Standard Time on that date, April 2nd. And your vote will be counted. We've already got a good solid sheaf of votes in our inbox for that. But the more participation, the merrier. And so just make your opinion count here, folks. We thank everybody again who participated in the nominations process, but there's one more step to go here before we can hand out those coveted Jamies to the deserving creators and comics and arcs and moments and what have you of 2022.
Yep, and it's also available, as I'm showing on the screen here, at the Comic Geek Speak YouTube page. If you head to community at youtube.com/Comic Geek Speak, you will find that as the most recent posting on there. We've got all of our selections available for everybody, and very easy for you to just copy paste and then just choose your one selection per category and send it along the best of at comicgeekspeak.com. Excellent. All right. I think that's all the ancillary bits to get rid of here. So onward we go to previews. And as said, it's issue 414. Looking forward to talking about Arcade Kings when we get there. And
how are we looking at Free Comic Book Day already again?
Yeah, I hear you. Free Comic Book Day, May 6th. It's quickly approaching, a lot faster than I thought it was 2 months ago. But then, lo and behold, 2 months passed, and now it's getting darn close to it.
Warp speed for sure.
Indeed, and this would be the month for putting it in for your DCBS orders, if I remember correctly, right? Because March,
yep,
months, April, May.
Yep.
Get those picks in there. Either at your local comic shop or wherever you purchase your stuff online. Plenty of Archie and Seismic and Power Rangers, Umbrella Academy, DC, Marvel, Star Trek, the whole gambit available for you here at on Free Comic Book Day, and hopefully your store, wherever local it may be, will have plenty to choose from when you do arrive there on that day. All right. Started off on page 46, and we get straight to the front cover of the previews catalog being showcased here. Arcade Kings, number 1 of 5 by Dylan Burnett. And looks like he's also on the artwork there with a cover by Corey Lewis. Also Jordan Gibson and Dylan Burnett on alternative covers. This is interesting. Dylan Burnett unveils a new prestige comic series sensation, perfect for fans of Invincible and Murder Falcon. They had me at that first one. Joe, a mysterious new face in Infinity City, has suddenly become the hottest new player at the Roundhouse Arcade. Anyone can challenge him, but no one can win. But Joe's secret past is about to catch up to him when his most formidable challenge yet rolls into town, forcing Joe to combo his powers with a joystick, his fists, and his fighting family legacy.
This sounds like a tailor-made Levenstein comic.
You're damn right. Yep. Good fighting game fun here. A little bit of Power Rangers, a little bit of Invincible in there with the family aspect of it all. This just seems right up my alley. And the artwork is kinetic, anime charged, and well designed color wise. So digging it all around.
And if you read the sample pages here, Joe's dialogue reminds me a bit of Connell, the clone Superboy. Right down to the leather jacket. You know, it's like a 90s stereotype of a cool teenager that has suddenly mysteriously sprung to life. So it's another reason why you might like it, Ian.
Yes, 100%. The more Connell, pastiches, the better, I say. And now for something epic. Larger than life fantasy epic for fans of 8 Billion Genies and Echo Lands on page 50 here, as Simon, spelled with a Z, Kudransky, gives us both the story and the art on this series premiere here from Image Comics, as this is all about only a handful of individuals known as epics are able to interact with this wondrous hidden world outside our perception. But 14-year-old Danny Dillon, accepting these responsibilities, tries to lose yourself in a world of endless fantasy and creativity where superheroes, monsters, magical creatures, and cartoon characters live and breathe alongside us.
Sounds like a mashup of Highlander and Time Bandits.
Good polls there, Chris.
Just going by the copy. But.
Yep. And the covers, or the alternate covers to this are awesome, with the Terminator send off, the Spider-Man send off, the Super Mario send off. Like this is cool stuff right here. I'll have to give this a shot. Look at that artwork too.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, wow, straight up cool. Maybe a little bit of an unwritten vibe to it. And then on page 54. The Savage Strength of Starstorm. High-octane sci-fi series with a teen superhero for the next generation. Image Comics is really knocking it out with those teen heroes of late.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This too, just the alliteration is incredibly Stan, and I approve of that. Orphaned amnesiac high school student Grant Garrison. Yes, the Savage Strength of Starstorm with Grant Garrison. We know what they're pulling.
Easy to remember those names.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Strange artifact from another galaxy. Weapon known as the Starstorm, and the power that resides within it will determine not only his and his friend's future, but the fate of the entire universe. High stakes action here. Nice to see yet another artist that knows how to draw teenagers that look like teenagers. Oh, wow. Look at that splash page there on 56. That's a Peresian
it sure is.
Work of faces, to say the least. And favorite of mine, Saladin Ahmed, brings us a new series. On page 58, Star Signs. Described as the wicked and the divine meets radiant black. Those are both the two very, very good things.
Yeah, the sample artwork from the team of Megan Levins and Kelly Fitzpatrick. Hey, McKelvian.
Yes.
So I can see the Wickdiv connection there.
Absolutely. They're working with the Zodiac as they fall to Earth, granting 12 ordinary people from different walks of life the superhuman powers of the star signs. That is a cool premise right there.
Yep. There have been a few other attempts to realize the signs of the Zodiac in like super-powered form. Marvel's Living Zodiac being one. There have been a few very like small press attempts to broach the concept, but none of them have been written by Saladin Ahmed. And that's really like you, Ian. That's what's attracting me to this project.
Absolutely.
Great concept and a good writer tackling it.
Completely agree. Good artwork to boot, certainly.
Yeah, really nice artwork.
Yep. Was there a DC villain named the Zodiac as well? Or am I remembering that wrong?
You might be thinking of, well, there was a Zodiac Master who was a 50s Batman villain.
Got it.
Was revived by the Benson sisters eventually. And there was also Libra, of course.
Yes. Yep.
I suddenly feel better after that Murdonian moment, don't you, gentlemen? Just plucked that. He just plucked it.
Always, always, always.
Right from the time stream.
I feel better with this supermassive one-shot here on page 62. Kyle Higgins, Ryan Parrott, Melissa Flores, and Matt Groom bring us a Radiant Black massive verse one-shot tying into all that's going on down there, all here for us on page 62.
I fell behind on Radiant Black, and I read maybe a few weeks ago, like 4 issues in a row. That book is still superb. Oh, what a tremendous comic. I mean, anybody who loves just great superhero stories, this is the book you should be reading. Wow.
Soon enough, my friend, soon enough.
Yes, that's true.
And 20th Century Men, which has gotten many, many to praise it on page 64, is collected in trade paperback. finally here. Denise Camp and Stepan Morian bring us this tale here. First 6 issues of 20th Century Men, all collected on page 64 for us. Jeremy Hahn's Haunthology on page 67. Love the name. Of course, Jeremy Hahn would have a Haunthology. Why not?
I wish they'd put a hyphen in there between the N and the T, though, because I've been reading that as Haunthology.
That's how I was reading it, Haunthology.
It's haunted tales of horror. You know, I didn't even look at the creator byline to see that this was works of Jeremy Hahn.
Good point. For all I know, it is actually Hauntology, for all we know, or Haunthology. But
Haunthology. Yeah, I would say Haunthology. Haunthology.
Now that I understand the underlying idea, I'm pretty sure it is Haunthology. Yeah. Once again, typography counts. So
yes, it does. As do very, very important hyphens. They change Spider-Man from Spider-Man. So.
Yes, indeed.
I love when Murd's editing facet comes out. Magnificent.
Yes. But this collects a bunch of this all in one package here on page 67. And Hitomi in trade paperback on the next page 68 for that matter. Invincible Compendium Volume 2 for us on page 71. These things are huge, Shane. They are not for you.
No, they would not be for me at all.
I'm still glad I have mine in the more manageable hardcover that they were put out with to begin with, because there's a lot of book,
I'll be honest, I'm actually surprised after all these years, and it's been a long time for this size of tome, that they're still that popular. Like, I would think people would get tired of, I can't log this around anymore.
There's a ton of omnibuses in the Marvel catalog this month.
Oh yeah, it's impressive.
It is, yeah. And this is from issue 48 to 96. So more than 50 issues here, including Invincible Returns and Astounding Wolfman issue 11, which were tie-in issues. Like, man, you're reading that with it sitting next to you on the couch or on the table. Like, that's it.
Yeah, you need like a podium.
You get like a podium, you could stand and read it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Get a laptop table and make sure that it's one of those ones that's leaned a little bit forward. That could work as well.
My favorite English teacher in high school actually had a beautiful, almost wall-sized window that overlooked her gorgeous backyard, and she did have a podium with a massive tome of Shakespeare or something else. She would change it now and then on top of it.
Nice.
It was really cool. Very
cool. All right. Anything else in Image, gents?
In Imagi? No, I don't think so.
That is how I'm going to pronounce it from now on. Imagi.
Yep, right there.
Boom. Yep. Love Everlasting issue 7.
It's back.
It is. Tom King and Elsa Charretier give us part 2 of Too Hip for Love. Comes out on May 3rd. 24 more pages of Love Everlasting. Many people's pick for best ofs this last year. And happy to see Tom's take on the romance continuing. 4 or 5 of Magic Order on the next page, 84 for that matter. So that's being close to being finished collecting. All right. I think. Oh yes, Saga 65. Everything's going to be fine.
Of course.
Check out that lying cat cover.
Oh, it's so good. So good. Page 89 right there. You can't get better than that. And Saga continues to be the best. And this is issue 65 of the best.
What's great about that cover is that, a pet is rolled over indicating trust, but at the same time, the lion cat has one eye open, looking very suspiciously around.
Yep.
Basically, you did it. You did it. Man, 266 Savage Dragon at this point.
Okay, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
But I thought that Savage Dragon and Spawn came out at the same time or close. Mm-hmm. Spawn's at 342. on the next page.
I think Spawn. Well, Savage Dragon had a couple of moments of like
Hiatus,
scattered releases for a little while, but also I think there were times where Spawn came out twice a month.
Okay,
so it's possible that may be why it's so far ahead of.
Wow.
Has Larson written and drawn every single issue of that series?
Yes, he has.
Wow.
Yep.
Which again, extremely impressive.
Incredible. Yeah. All right. Let's move ourselves forward here past Image and into Boom as we start here with Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer, The Lost Summer. Standalone special set in the continuity of the TV series. So
this involves Spike's when Spike was a poet when he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was called William the Bloody, because his poetry was so bloody awful.
I'm glad.
I know someone in this quorum here that writes like that.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Those halcyon days.
Man,
going to the coffee house at age 19. I'm pouring my soul.
Snapping your
Thank
fingers.
God there was no social media back then. Holy mackerel.
All I see is So I Married an Axe Murderer.
That's an apt comparison, my friend.
I love that movie.
I'm actually imagining Flanders' parents from The Simpsons, like, the beatnik poets that he very much tried to not be.
Well, I diddly do.
I did angry confrontational poetry.
Even better.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear some of that someday.
Yep. Recordings exist of a couple of Chris's friends, myself included, reading some of it aloud.
Yeah.
Nice.
Performing it.
Yep.
You have to
paying homage.
No other way to do it other than a performance. But I'm glad to see that this is in the TV series continuity, because they have their side Buffy continuity that they're mainly using in Boom.
Yeah.
This goes back to the TV series. So nice to see. Page 90.
God, I miss that show.
Mm-hmm.
I miss seeing It and Angel for the first time.
Yeah.
I'd love to go back and see it all again for the first time.
Look at this cover by Veronica Fish. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's great.
That just screams Dazed and Confused.
Yes. And then Cullen Bunn gives us a new 12-issue maxi series illustrated by Leo Max and Brian Hurd. It's all capitals, so you got to pronounce it that way.
Exactly.
Yep. New supernatural ongoing series for fans of Philadelphia and Bone Orchard Black Feathers. What ghost stories do ghosts tell? And what can they tell us about ourselves? Almost sounds M. Night Shyamalan-esque here with that sort of premise. A deadly accident of which they were the only survivors. Lucas and Harmony can see the dead, an overwhelming account of the deceased, all with their own warnings, cries for help, and malevolence alike. Seeing dead people indeed. Page 102. Ooh, that's a scary image.
That is creepy as all heck.
Yeah, that's a creepy image.
And I'm scrolling by it because it's a little too creepy for my blood. And then Jason Aaron's page 106, the soft cover of Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. First 5 issues of that collected here for you, for anybody who hasn't checked that one out yet.
I have not read that.
No, I haven't either.
Well, now you have a
I love his work. Yeah.
Indeed. That's all on page 106. Stephanie Phillips gives us Grim Reaper Pack #1 on page 110. Part of the Grimm imprint at Boom. Whether you missed out on the widely sold out early issues of Grimm or are just an avid collector, this limited edition Grim Reaper Pack of issues 1 through 5 will never be resurrected with a reprint, so don't let it slip away into the afterlife. Featuring brand new exclusive covers by Dave Johnson of Detective Comics and 100 Bullets. Jessica Harrow's introduction has never looked so alive. Great way to get yourself caught up on a series that's had a lot of good press. Grim Reaper on page 110. Grim Volume 2 on page 112 for that matter. Next chapter. I think that's about it for Boom, as everything else is kind of ongoing, unless there's anything else.
Go Power Rangers.
And that you know what's coming out soon in the next couple of weeks. They're doing a new special on Netflix, bringing back a whole bunch of the original almost original Power Rangers to battle Rita Repulsa one more time.
Nice.
Yep.
There's a thing worthy of note on page 122.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's a softcover collection of Incorruptible by Mark Waid, which is kind of a companion volume to his
Irredeemable.
There we go. Sorry.
Which was deeply disturbing.
Could not call it to mind. Yes, which is the story of what happens when a Superman analog goes criminally insane.
Yep.
But Incorruptible is, it's kind of the equal and opposite reaction to that. It's about a supervillain who decides to join the side of the Angels in an attempt to neutralize the threat of, this Superman-like figure, the Plutonian. So this collects that whole series of, wow. Yeah, 30 issues of Incorruptible plus 2 issues of Irredeemable that crossed over with it. So that's quite a hefty package there. 784 pages for $50.
Yeah. And after discount, that's even less for 50 issues of comics. That's or damn close to 50 issues. So yeah, it's good stuff. I'm a huge fan of that. I have all the original soft covers on my shelves, and both Irredeemable and Incorruptible are well worth your time if you're into, Superman gone wrong stories. All right. And moving into Dark Horse. Mignola has a new 4-issue mini, Miss Truesdale and the Fall of Hyperborea. One of the last followers of the falling Heliopic Brotherhood of Ra. I feel like I need to say that with more emphasis. Heliopic Brotherhood of Ra. The unassuming Miss Truesdale finds herself on the receiving end of Brotherhood leader Tefnut Trionis's final vision, connecting her life in Victorian London to a young gladiator's in ancient Hyperborea. Truesdale discovers she now has the chance to change the future by altering the bygone past. This screams Mignola in description. Well, he's got another 4-issue mini here on page 130 for you all to check out. Tyler Crook has a new Lonesome Hunters miniseries also on page 132. Starts off with a new 4-issue mini. Supernatural fantasy about lost power and destiny. A kid in a creepy mask. And
Murder Incorporated offshoot.
Yes, indeed. Bendis and Oeming. Can't go wrong with that. Murder Inc., Jagger Rose.
I never finished Murder Inc. I mean, the premise was that the 5 families still have a massive influence and control in the United States. I never finished it. So I remember enjoying it, but did that end? Murder Incorporated originally? Or did it peter out? Or
I think it did technically end, or at least they got to the end of a storyline necessarily. But as is the case with many a Bendis story, I don't think it ever quite ends. I think it just becomes a series. Here we are with a 6-issue one to start it off with on page 133.
Red Dawn meets 30 Days of Night.
That's a description. Survival issue 1 of 5, Sean Lewis and Brendan Everett. When Emma Reed journeys back to her hometown in Alaska, she was expecting little more than a tense family reunion at the annual military alumni get-together. But early that morning, a plane crash landed in the thick woods near the mountain, and the creature within brings an ancient terror to the last American frontier. Those darn ancient terrors.
And the Red Dawn theme in my head now. Wolverines! Deeply silly but fun film.
See Thomas Howe with a classic 70s Star Wars hat on.
All right, moving it on. Scott Snyder's Clear finishes up this month over at Dark Horse. Snyder and Manapul, what a team.
Yeah, I'll say.
page 137 for the third and final issue of that. And Masters of the Universe Masterverse concludes, and I may very well be picking up the trade paperback to this one.
Really?
Oh yeah. You do multiverse Masters of the Universe, and I'm in. That's hard to pass up, and it's Tim Seeley for that matter.
Agreed on all counts.
Yeah. All good points.
Indeed. 138 has that one for us. Anything else new?
On page 143, Kevin Smith is reviving his Maskerade, which was originally a 5-issue miniseries, and I give him credit for this. Instead of just starting up a new 4-issue miniseries with a new number 1, he's releasing number 5 of 4, and he's going to go all the way up to issue 8 here with this one. So it's like a second arc. It's Kevin Smith with artist Andy McElfresh. It's his own original character, Maskerade. That's on page 143.
Nice.
Oh, and they're calling it ongoing, and yet it says number 5 of 8 up in the top line of the solicitation. So
just to keep
actually, Mora, it looks like McElfresh is a co-writer.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out, Chris.
You bet.
Yes, Andy McElfresh, co-writer, and Giulia Gualazzi is going to be the artist.
There you go.
I also wanted to hear you pronounce that name.
I was just going to say, glad he said it and not me.
Yep.
Well, maybe it's just going to continue getting like it's ongoing, as in right now it's 5 of 8, and then when we get to issue 8, it'll be 8 of 12, and then 12 of 15. They're just going to continue doing that to us.
Yes, I would be.
Got a whole Eyes Wide Shut cover going on there, by the way.
Yes, indeed. All right. Assassin's Apprentice concludes as well. Jody Houser's Assassin's Apprentice. Issue 6 of 6 of that miniseries concludes on page 144. So that'll be collected soon. And Space Job also concludes. That was an interesting take on the Star Trek world of things on page 145. And that is it with Dark Horse. And rather than go to Dynamite, we will go to DC.
God, I'm excited for this.
You better believe it.
Wow.
Patents.
Dawn of DC.
That creative team. Holy mackerel.
In general, Dawn of DC has me super duper excited for just about everything that's coming out in this new relaunch. Page 2 has Titans number 1. That's what we're gushing about at the moment.
Yep.
Tom Taylor and Nicola Scott.
What's exciting also is that because Taylor's writing, because he's been wonderfully developing Nightwing / Dick Grayson as one of the great new leaders of the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to see that carry forward now with the Titans. So this is great stuff.
He's kind of boning up on his Titans characterizations by having the team guest star in recent issues of Nightwing.
Yeah. Yep.
And for that matter, I mean, I hope that Beast Boy is feeling better right now, because I know in recent comic books, he's been dealing with the trauma from the most recent crisis, and was stuck in animal form for a little while there. Whether or not that's still going to be the case when this series begins, I know he did finally transform, I think, at the end of one of the more recent issues, but still dealing with the ramifications of that in one way or the other. And man, that artwork.
Yeah.
Nicola Scott.
There's a little Aqualab we got there too.
Yep. This is the most prominent the Titans have been in DC Comics probably since the 90s.
Yeah, probably since Devin Grayson's run, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of makes me wish that they would bring the Outsiders back for that matter, because that was
Look at this.
damn good stuff. Yep.
Look at this.
You know, when I first saw it, I thought, nope, not getting a Shazam one. And then I saw who's writing it. I'm like, oh, man.
As if you could resist, Shane.
I know.
As if I could, for that matter.
I'll be getting it too. As a quick side note, Shane, we'll talk about this a little more later on. I really enjoy the new Shazam film.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yep.
I did too.
We will discuss that probably next week thereabouts.
Excellent.
And just a little caveat. Did you catch the 2 Easter eggs in it?
Well, Mert hasn't watched it yet, so let's not spoil. I caught one that I'm going to look forward to talk to Mert about, because I was a little unclear. I was a little hazy on its multimedia origins. I didn't catch the other one.
Okay.
I caught at least one of the Easter eggs, if I know what you're referring to.
At least I would call them both Easter eggs. So Okay, that's fine. We'll reconvene.
Look at this. Look at this cover.
I'll meet you with a theater soon. Oh yes,
Looks spectacular.
Yeah.
Yes, the modern big red cheese bursting out of the pages of. I'm assuming those are DC pages there.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, not like vintage Fawcett stuff. But anyway, it's by Mark Waid and Dan Mora, the same creative team who've brought us that Batman Superman World's Finest comic that so many of our listeners have been enjoying. It was well loved during the Best of Awards nominations. And here's the copy. Dinosaurs from Space, the Clubhouse of Eternity, homicidal worms and talking tigers, atomic robots, alien worlds, mad scientists, sinister curses, and villains from throughout the DC universe. Welcome to the wild adventures of Billy Batson, whose big red alter ego, whose name is not Shazam, thank you, defends the Earth from its weirdest and wildest threats. Apparently he's going to go up against Garguax, Emperor of the Moon, who's going to attack Gorilla City.
Oh, in.
And I gotta say, I love the pages on page 5, the red and black and white. You could do the book just like that, and I'd be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Classic image of the old wizard down there in the lower right, juxtaposed with dinosaurs and flying saucers.
Yeah.
Yep, this is bound to be a fun series.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the solicitation copy doesn't try to call the title character Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, just maybe, Mark Waid will be the one to slip his actual moniker into text here again at some point.
Aren't they allowed to do that within the stories?
I think they are.
I think they are.
Somebody at DC just had acquired faintness of heart and just lost some cojones somewhere along the line and decided, we're going to officially call this character Shazam in all of our media and promotions and whatnot, even though that's never been the character's name, just to avoid confusion and or,
infringement,
legal entanglements, however groundless, with Marvel and their own character of the same name.
Yeah, I think especially after the Captain Marvel, movie started becoming an idea that was out there, DC wanted to shy as far away from that as possible, but. I agree. The character can still be Captain Marvel in comics, like as long as you don't put it on the cover.
If I were DC, I would have, after the release of Marvel's movie, I would have leaned even harder into the similarity of name.
Yep, the real Captain Marvel.
Yeah, the original, as they did in the early '70s when Marvel's first Captain Marvel was still a big deal.
Yeah. Yep. Or even if it was DC's Captain Marvel, I mean, there's nothing even close now between the two Captain Marvels.
Yeah, talk about a perfect artist to be drawing this book as well. With the classic sensibilities that Dan Mora brings to the table, it's such a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it makes me think of the late '70s, early '80s World's Finest stories, which had some work from Don Newton and I think Gil Kane a couple of times.
Legend.
So page 6, I'm happy and sad at the same time because Jeremy Adams, one of my favorite writers at the moment, having Germanico along with that as well is terrific, and I think do a damn fine job on Green Lantern. Unfortunately, Jeremy Adams tweeted a couple of days ago that this does indeed mean the end of his Flash run. And we don't know who's taking over yet. All I know is that I'm very sad to hear that, because talk about a guy who got Flash better than most in the past couple of years. And it's not even that I didn't enjoy the Flash before that. It's just I enjoyed it so much more with him at the helm. So they better have somebody great lined up to follow up with that.
Levinstein hath spoketh.
Yep.
Take note, DC. The wrath is impending.
Mert, I'm sure you agree, but it's I can't wait to see what he has to do with Green Lantern. But his Flash was something else. Absolutely,
but just focus on the positive here. He's moving forward to greener pastures, as it were. And I'm sure what he's going to do with Hal is going to be no less enjoyable and no less steeped in the lore of the character than what he's been doing with Wally.
Mert, what was fascinating about that moment is that you pulled a Levinstein, but you added your sonorous majesty to it. So somehow it transcended the normal Borscht Belt. Wow, that was dazzling.
Your own gravitas.
It went one up from borscht. It's actually like a finely crafted French tomato soup. Magical.
We.
Yep. And this is going to have Sinestro involved in the story one way or the other. Tale of redemption, loss, and finding out that maybe, just maybe, you can go home again. And not just Hal Jordan, but also Jon Stewart, and that makes me happy.
And aren't they going to be doing Green Lantern in the new Gunn led DC universe? They are, right? Okay.
Yeah, Hal and John.
Hal and John will be there in a TV series at some point.
Okay.
Yep.
I hope Sinestro doesn't keep his hood up all the time.
Yeah, Sinestro in a hoodie.
Silly. Yeah.
Kind of a strange visual.
Yeah, that's silly.
Agreed. Yeah, but
and just as strange as Kilowog in the tank top, which that's weird too.
That works for
Less
me more
weird
than hooded Sinestro does.
I agree. Less weird, but
and it's Philip Kennedy Johnson and Montos on the Jon Stewart backup in this. But yeah, I like the look of Sinestro, even with the leather jacket, like the Fonz-esque look that's going on here.
Hey.
But I agree, take off the hood. That'll make it a lot better.
If you look at the cover image, Kilowog has a hood on too.
He does, yeah.
Yes.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, are they all going to be Earthbound here? Because
it sure seems to look that way, at least for this beginning.
Yeah.
It says in the copy that the Guardians have quarantined Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which also makes me wonder if this is perhaps happening in comics, because it will soon be happening on TV.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the third Doctor in Doctor Who being trapped on Earth.
Green Lantern Corps Los Angeles all over again.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, if I get Green Lantern Special Victims Unit on TV, I will be happy as long as there's some aliens involved. That'll make me happy.
Yeah, but me too. But I would be made even happier if they could range throughout their entire sector. And
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, there's another alien on Earth. Let's go investigate it.
Look at the creators on this Brave and the Bold. Holy mackerel!
Batman Brave and the Bold, Tom King, Ed Brisson, Chris Cantwell, and Dan Mora on writing. Wow.
And he's doing a new Batman Black and White story.
Yeah.
Great man for that job.
To do a Golden Age tribute. Holy moly.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is something else.
Looks like Brisson and Spokes are going to be doing a Mr. Bones and Wildstorm story, talking about how some major DC villains are going to be hunted down by this special task force while the Justice League temporarily doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, Chris Cantwell and artist Javier Rodriguez of Defenders Beyond and other projects, great artist. That's a terrific team, really. They're doing a Superman story called The Order of the Black Lamp.
Wow.
Superman finds a decoder ring with a secret message which sends him on a quest to solve a mystery with ties to his past.
Oh, man.
and check out the headlining Tom King, Mitch Gerads story.
Yep.
Where they're gonna tell the first encounter between the Batman and the Joker.
Wow.
This may be the most frightening Joker story in a generation. Given that creative team, I believe that is more than empty hype.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have to reiterate that I have not been this excited for DC Comics in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And I know that my allegiance swings back and forth, but over the past year or so, I've been way more hyped for DC than I have been for Marvel for the most part. Maybe that'll swing again in a few months. Who knows? But so far, so good. DC. This is really, really good.
Well, again, look at the creative teams they have on these number one issues. For me, that's all there is to it. It's the creative teams.
Look at that Superman underwater there. Oh my God!
And I don't mean it that it all needs to look classic, but it looks more reminiscent to what I like about DC and the way their characters are designed.
It does. And speaking of designs, by the way, page 10, completely new design for Cyborg here, but I really dig it. And yeah, you're right, Tom Rainey. How could you go wrong? Talk about a classic artist to tackle Cyborg, along with Morgan Hampton on the writing. This is a 6-issue miniseries they're starting out here for Cyborg. That could, who knows, potentially lead to more. But great to see a Cyborg book on the stands, one way or the other, as he gains more prominence as the Titans do.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that design. Harkens to his Teen Titans Go design, only more.
A little bit.
All right, moving on to page 12, we get Spirit World by Alyssa Wong and Haining. From the pages of Lazarus Planet Dark Fate, a new Chinese hero emerges who's able to travel to and from the spirit world, the realm of the dead, and that of the living. Their name is Xanthi, and their superpowers is being able to burn items folded from joss paper and immediately turn them into real objects based on the East Asian practice of burning joss paper at graveyards in order to send resources to ancestors in the spirit world.
That's interesting.
That's a tattooed man with origami.
Yes.
Really cool.
With a little bit of Full Metal Alchemist thrown in there for good measure.
Good call, yeah.
Yeah, no, this sounds awesome. Really, really digging the premise here for this one. Another 6-issue mini on page 12 to start things off.
And something I noticed is if you're reading like the title and then the artist and all that, every cover is cardstock.
Yes.
For like multiple of these releases we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Is this a preview page for the same thing?
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like we're gonna get some Batgirl action.
Yeah, she's in it too. Yep.
Yeah, I think all of these We Are Legends things are set in the DC universe.
Nice. Very cool. Oh yeah, you're right there. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see there at the later on in the solicitation, he finds them in Batgirl Cascade fighting an abnormal influx of Zhang Qi, which is Chinese hopping vampires. And there, but man, the rendering on that artwork, whew, a lot going on there. A lot going on. Page 14 brings us The Vigil. Another new series, Ram V on the writing chores with Lalit Kumar Sharma on the artwork. Another 6-issue miniseries here. A lot of these happening. Shipping vessel Eastwind was taken captive by pirates off the coast of Thailand 24 hours after the crew had been taken hostage. Before communication had been established or any demands made, the crew reported an intervention by a group of unknown individuals. They are the A-Team. No.
Well done.
They're soldiers of fortune.
Yeah, this looks cool. It's a strike force. DC does strike forces pretty well, and this is a brand new one here with the Vigil. Down for it. Once again, cool artwork. So yeah, another new idea thrown out.
I like that bottom panel of whatever they're walking into structure, like the headquarters.
Absolutely. Yep. And
now,
Greg Pak.
This page on City Boy on page 16, when I was flipping through this the first time, I read that as City Roy. And with the color, I'm like, are they redoing Roy in this now?
Roy, he lives in the city.
Really?
Which is funny because Roy is running around the new Green Arrow book and he wears red. So
yeah, and I'm like,
often wears a tactical cap like that too.
Yeah, so I'm like, did they just relaunch a Red Arrow story calling him City Roy now? And then I read, I'm like, okay.
It doesn't help where he's placed on the cover.
That's exactly it. Mm-hmm. I looked down, I'm like, City Boy, that's not right. City Boy. Oh, okay, City Boy, I got it.
Nice.
Shane, it's going to be all right.
Yeah, I just thought.
Perfectly reasonable assumption to make.
Oh, yeah.
Then I thought, is it a red beetle? Because of the way the jacket looks, the design, I'm like, well, that kind of looks like Blue Beetle.
It does,
that's not right either.
It's supposed to be a skyline, I think, but it looks just as much like stylized insect legs.
Yeah, I'm like, I got to get my eyes checked.
Well, look, I'm looking forward to City Roy. I think it's going to be really and I mean, Greg Pak is one of my favorite writers, and Q Jung here on the artwork chores. This was first seen in the Wildstorm 30th anniversary special and Lazarus Planet Legends Reborn. A new Korean hero named City Boy. So yeah, we are expanding our horizons over at DC and going worldwide, and there ain't nothing.
No, I like in past times when they've done that too. Infinite Crisis featured a plethora of international heroes.
Sure. Yeah.
And this new character, Cameron Kim, looks like he's the successor to Jack Hawksmoor of Authority.
Okay.
It's the newly ordained King of Cities. And so he's traveling around the DC universe, and he can talk to every city he visits. They even manifest themselves to him in the form of cute little animal avatars, like Gotham City is a rat made out of garbage, for example. So we're going to see what Metropolis's avatar is like, Bloodhaven, the list goes on. Hopefully a few real-world cities, too. I'd like to see what Philadelphia comes across as. Or I wonder if like all the different boroughs of New York, if each of those would have like its own little avatar.
That's possible. That's possible.
Possibilities are endless, and Greg Pak is a creative enough writer to come up with some really fun stories and characters based around this concept. So this is, of all these projects in the We Are Legends sub-imprint, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. It's kind of a shame it's just a 6-issue miniseries at first.
Yep.
Well, hopefully it turns into something more.
Yep, let's hope that for all of these ideas.
Yep. One thing he doesn't have that Hawksmoor had were with those really cool like concrete legs. Or at least concrete shoes that Hawksmoor had. That was one of the coolest like images of the entire character. Was him walking around and his feet were literally city. All right, page 18.
Issue 900, Shane.
I know. I love anniversary issues.
And it's Batman versus Red Mask. What better way to celebrate Batman number 900 than having a battle with the Red Mask?
Yeah.
Yep. Can the Dark Knight overcome the terrifying infection that Red Mask has unleashed? Only one thing is certain, he won't be able to do it alone. Conclusion to the Batman of Gotham here with this 900th issue. And Jorge Jimenez returning to Batman. Power Girl special one shot here. Leah Williams and Marguerite Savage as she takes center stage. With new powers and a new mission, Power Girl faces a challenge unlike any she's experienced before in this shocking one shot rising from the events of Lazarus Planet and Action Comics. They're really trying to make Power Girl her own character.
Yeah.
Not just an also ran of Supergirl at this point. But not quite sure how long the new power set's going to last.
Yeah, I'm a little leery about it myself, Ian. I like the idea of her working with Lilith Clay, with Omen, to battle demons or whatever, but the new power set, new costume, it kind of smacks of the time when they were trying to reestablish her as Atlantean and had her join Sovereign 7 and whatnot. That didn't take either. I don't see this.
Sovereign 7,
no.
Wow.
It also kind of reminds me of that brief period when Punisher fought angels,
Yeah.
Or when he was an angel and fought demons, whatever. But that didn't last for Frank, and I don't think this will last for Kara.
I'm at least glad that she's still a part of the super family. That they have.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Not going anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. But they could have easily been like, no, turns out she's not Kryptonian. She's from France. That's not the way they went, luckily. Page 20 for that.
Zootalours.
So I love that word.
Look at the Nightwing cover. Man,
the meme cover. The meme cover on page 21. It's one of my favorite memes on the internet, and now we have Bruno Redondo turning it into a Nightwing cover. The shocked friend being like, "Damn!" like that. Oh man, every single cover he does is gold, absolute gold. Issue 104 of Nightwing, and up top there we get a new villain alert as Joshua Williamson and Sean Isaac introduce us to a new villain called Troublemaker. that the Green Arrow will have to be taking on with the assistance of City Roy and
real Roy. Or I should say Classic Roy. That's probably a better way to say it. Classic Roy.
He doesn't go by Arsenal anymore, right? That's long gone, isn't it?
I think it's a good question, actually.
I don't know.
It's kind of a 90s name. I don't.
It sounds like a 90s name, yeah.
It does, yeah. Because he was going by Arsenal for a little while more recently, but I think he might be back to Red Arrow. I could be wrong.
And even in this list, they don't refer to him as that. It's Roy Harper.
That's true. I guess
it's Roy Harper and Black Canary. So that maybe Arsenal's completely out the window.
He doesn't need a secret identity anymore. He's just Roy.
Yeah.
The Kryptonite Claw in Superman #4. That sounds dangerous.
All I hear is Inspector Gadget's The Claw or Dr. Claw.
Notice how each of the kryptonite claws is a different color.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yep. And the return of Cyborg Superman in issue 22, page 22, Action Comics 1055, as Philip Kennedy Johnson, Dan Jurgens, and Dorado Quick write their stories in this, along with Rafa Sandoval, Lee Weeks, the one and only Lee Weeks, Yasmin Flores Montañez.
Yep. Looks like Cyborg Superman is behind Metallo's recent problems.
Mm-hmm.
And he is actually teaming up with Superman here as they hunt for Metallo's missing sister. I have to pick this up to see what Metallo's sister's name is. I wonder if it sounds anything like Roger, because in pre-crisis continuity, John Corbin, the original Metallo, had a brother named Roger, who eventually became the new Metallo and took up a vendetta against Superman because of the death of his brother. So just to see if they're picking up on that note from original continuity here.
That's certainly possible. Certainly possible.
That was like a great Murdonian archivist moment.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Got chills.
And
what I live for, Chris.
Absolutely. Speaking of Mr. Tom Taylor, he gets to return to the Injustice world on page 23 here, Adventures of Superman John Kent #3. As Jonathan Kent continues to traverse the multiverse, taking on Ultraman. And now here he is dealing with a Superman gone very, very broken bad. Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow, also continuing its 6-issue mini on page 23. Kenny Porter and Janoy Lindsay writing me some Connor, and I will definitely be reading that. And look who's joining in on Unstoppable Doom Patrol. Both Kyle. We get some Guy and Kyle action. That's what I'm talking about. Dennis Culver on that Doom Patrol series. Intellectual property respected. Harley Quinn #30.
It's an interesting burst.
Yeah. Plus the introduction of my very own cosmic workout gear that is in no way an infringement on the Flash's intellectual property.
Cosmic shake weight?
I guess. No. It's a treadmill. But I like that one too. New Talent Showcase, the Milestone Initiative. Written by Various. Art by Various. Who is this new rising star Various?
I don't know, but he's around.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, though. 112 pages of new talent on display for only $3.99.
Wow.
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
It was an excellent deal. All right. Moving forward here. Batman White Knight presents Generation Joker. Sean Murphy continues his White Knight series on page 26.
I'm not going to get the issues. I'm going to wait for the trade. I'm
That's
not getting the
developed
issues. I'm going to wait for the trade.
That's developed into quite a universe of its own, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I keep getting the issues, and then I see the trade or the hardback somewhere. I'm like, oh, that looks so nice. And then I get that. And then I have to get rid of the issues.
Yep. And Sean Murphy reunites with co-writers Katana Collins and Clay McCormick to bring fans the latest chapter. Great artwork.
Indeed.
And here we go. Page 28. Kyle Starks and Steve Pugh bring us Peacemaker Tries Hard with a Vengeance.
It should come packaged with a little miniature record with some like hair metal recorded on it.
I am all for that. This is a Black Label 17 plus comic, as well it should be, as we get some of DC's biggest POS. I almost said the full thing. Yeah, screw it. I'll say it. Piece of shit that will bust, break bones, and melt hearts. On page 28.
Yep, this is clearly the John Cena version of Peacemaker.
Yeah. There's no mistaking that.
The only difference is that because it's actually artwork, you can see him as opposed to John Cena, who you cannot see. It's 6-issue miniseries, 1 of 6. Peacemaker Tries Hard, and there's a dog.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, this could be the John Wick version of Peacemaker.
Yeah. I hope Eagly doesn't get jealous.
Yeah.
Oh man, the artwork is. This is like Garth Ennis Punisher level.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. Yep.
Great stuff.
You can't go wrong with a dog.
It's true.
Woof.
I mean, look at Nightwing's dog. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Aw, Haley.
Tie-in to the Suicide Squad video game. Each issue arrives with a digital code for an in-game item. On page 30, talk about some good tie-in there. Any of you Suicide Squad fans of the game should check out Kill Arkham Asylum #1 for that, and also because it's written by John Layman, so that's a good reason to check it out too. All right, scrolling down a bit more here. Maybe
Not yet. I need the 1 volume.
Shane, this is like you with JLA. I ordered part 1 of the hardcover. I'm going to order part 2. Then inevitably, when they do a full hardcover of the whole thing, I'm going to order that as well.
I have the issues, and I'm holding out for the one all-in-one volume.
Which is not logical or cost efficient, but it's so damn good I don't care.
I'm going to read them on the DC app, and then when there's a hardcover, I will buy the hardcover of all of it. I'm with Shane. I cannot see myself buying 2 separate hardcovers of something that's 12 issues, but still damn good stuff.
That's not to say if this was years ago and I was going to conventions more and I found these in like a half-off convention bin, I would get both volumes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But I'm really holding out for the all-in-one volume. I have to finish the issues first of all.
Did anybody check out Swamp Thing Green Hell when it was coming out?
I did not.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Jeff Lemire and Doug Mahnke those are 2
powerhouses.
Absolutely. This collects all 3 issues of that on page 35.
And I was kind of waiting for collected DC app, something like that for it.
Yep. And then Suicide Squad Get Joker right underneath that. Azzarello and Malieve. Wow. Batman versus Robin, for any of you who are waiting to check that out. Now that's all collected here. Mark Waid with Mahmoud Asrar and Scott Godlewski on page 36. And then Batman Gotham Knights Gilded City right underneath it.
Oh, Batman. Shane, did you read Batman the Night?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you'd love it. I've talked about this all last year. A superb Zdarsky scripted story about Bruce Wayne and his travels once he leaves Gotham as a young man to learn the skills that'll make him into Batman, essentially. It's really well done.
I didn't realize it was 10 issues.
Yeah, it's an excellent story that they really explore how the different sort of mentors he takes on, who then he learns different skills from. It's really well done.
Do they keep with mentors that we've known through his history, or is it just all?
I think. See, you're better versed. I want to say some of them are,
okay,
but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I may wait for soft cover on that one, but I've been looking forward to reading that as well. G. Will Wilson's Batman One Bad Day Catwoman, along with Jamie McKelvey. G. Will Wilson and Jamie McKelvey on that. And then, this is basically just a bunch of the One Bad Days that they're advertising here. Once this is all in one package, it's going to be something special, to say the least.
There's a slipcase of it at the bottom.
Yeah, it's right there. The whole hardcover.
I want them all. I want them all as one hardcover. I don't want them as a slipcase. And I'm sure it'll eventually.
Well, you can still hunt down the soft covers, which are $8.
That's true.
It's the same book, right? I mean,
damn it!
I'm thinking. The only one I didn't order was Bane.
And now for something as borscht belt as I am.
God. Young
Alfred, Pain in the Butler. Written by Michael Northrop and Sam Lotfi. A man after my own heart with a name like that. Oh, man. When he suspects that his new school may be involved in a criminal plot, Alfred must look within himself to see if he has what it takes to not only be a butler, but a hero. Fascinating. Page 40. And nice youthful artwork to go along with it. Talk about a classic.
Yeah.
Especially to put it out after Pacheco's passing here on page.
I don't think I've ever read that story.
It's
really.
I'll have to get that. Wow.
Post-Infinite Crisis Superman run, which I've just started to read, by the way.
Excellent.
By Busick and Pacheco. They were doing that at the same time Jeff Johns was doing his Action Comics run.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll have to pick that up.
Yeah. And Pacheco and Marino did terrific artwork for that throughout. It's Busiek. What else is there to say?
There's nothing else to say.
Exactly. And right underneath that, Crisis on Multiple Earths, Book 3, Countdown to Crisis.
I got some Bronze Age wackiness there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
My favorite type of wackiness. Page 44, Batman TMNT Omnibus. James Tynion IV and Ryan Ferrier and Freddie E. Williams and Kevin Eastman. That's awesome.
My oldest actually tracked down and wanted for Christmas all the trades of that, so we have them in the house.
Nice.
Look at that Batman facsimile, the first Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, right there on page 45.
I've picked up a couple of these facsimile ones. I actually really enjoyed them. They have all the advertisements in.
Yep.
They're gorgeous.
Yep.
That's exactly how I want my facsimiles to be. Everything that was in them.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Straight out of the time capsule.
Yep. I like that cover to Batgirl's 18 also.
It's good.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
They recently announced, I think issue 19 is going to be the final issue of Batgirls, and also that the Tim Drake Robin book is going to be ending as well.
Thank God. I'm sorry, I did not like the art on that. I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
That's just me. Hey, mileage may vary. If you love it, you love it.
No, please, by all means. Yeah.
The art on the Robin book or the art on Batgirls you didn't like?
The Robin book. I love that they're continuing with this Batman the Adventure Continues, and this is season 3, issue 5.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot of fun to read.
They are. Yeah.
Can we go down to that Danger Street cover, please?
And
Awesome.
Wow.
Page 46, Danger Street number 6. Murray, that's going to really get your heart pumping.
Yeah, that it does.
Wow.
I'll never think of Darkseid the same way again.
Yeah. How can you feel threatening when he wants Fruit Loops like looking things?
Incredible.
And he's crunch. Chris, are you reading Black Adam?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it good? It's excellent. I'm maybe a month or two behind for where it is right now, but it's Priest bringing in a character who is essentially like the point of view of regular people, who ends up essentially becoming the heir to Black Adam.
He's one of Black Adam's many descendants.
Yeah. So it's
similar to Vandal Savage. He's existed.
Yeah.
Well, he's millennia old, so he's got plenty.
Yeah, and he's a street smart young. He's
medical intern.
He's a medical intern. Yeah, he's studying to be a doctor. It's if you like Priest's style and that way he always brings in geopolitics and the history. It's really worth reading.
Good. And then geopolitics and all that fits Black Adam very well.
It sure does. Yep.
We also have to point out what's to the left of that, by the way. The Batman, Superman, World's Finest, Waid and Mora, and The Rise of Ultra Morpho. It's a brand new android that stands even deadlier than a Mazo, able to transform into any element, including kryptonite. Ultra Morpho can kill Batman, Superman, Robin, and Metamorpho in one fell swoop. But who created him? Who does he work for? And what does he have? And what has he done to Will Magnus, inventor of the Metal Men?
So glad that book's around.
Oh yeah. All there on page 46. Fables issue 160. This is the 10th of 12, issues coming out as continuation to the original. So we're getting close to the conclusion of this story arc of Fables on page.
And once the trade paperback is solicited, I will get it and put it on my shelf with my others.
Nice. Love that Huntress cover for Justice Society of America number 6.
Yeah.
Jeff Johns and Mikhail Janin.
I actually like the Looney Tunes cover too.
272, sensational.
I mean, how do you go wrong with Duck Dodgers?
Looks like some Federation officers there.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it's still $2.99 the issue.
That's awesome.
And how about that multiversity Harley screws up the DCU?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I saw an image on the supergroup earlier today explaining why Superman was so angry at that car.
I didn't see that yet.
Its car alarm was stuck. It would not turn off.
And then talk about covers. That Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries number 8 there.
Yeah.
So good.
Mm-hmm. And this issue's story is written by Shali Fish. Yes, unfortunately, not every issue of this volume of Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries has been, and you can tell the difference when somebody else is at the keyboard. But yep, this one is a Shali Fish story. It'll be good.
And on the left of that, Superman Lost. Looking forward to issue 1, also by Christopher Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I somehow missed that. I didn't realize he was writing a Superman book.
Yep. Jeremy. Oh wow. Look at this Flash 798 and 799. 799 in particular, uncovering the truth about what happened to their third child. Wally and team must infiltrate the dangerous compound known as the Nest in hopes of saving their newborn while battling the formidable Granny Goodness.
That's a lot of parademons.
You better believe it. Man.
So is he ending with 800, Ian? Do you know?
I assume so. Yeah.
Flash family goes to the fourth world.
Yes. Right. And I think that's about it for me. Although we're now in the trades, so let's see if there's anything else trade related.
Well, the only thing I wanted to mention, because Flash is coming to $7.99, as is Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So they will both be hitting their 800th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, and the creative teams of both books will then be stepping away because the Wonder Woman team will step aside so that Tom King can write a new volume of Wonder Woman upcoming.
Oh,
Wow.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. Merge.
Yep, he mentioned it on Facebook.
Excellent.
Nice.
Look at the story. Oh, man.
Excellent.
That is exciting.
Page 55 has two things that I'll point out outside of, me still comprehending that Tom King is going to write Wonder Woman. I can't freaking wait. The Unwritten Compendium 1. So any of you who haven't checked out Unwritten, this is certainly a way to do so. Mike Carey and Peter Gross's epic. Love that series. This is the first 30 issues of the Unwritten here for you. So do check it out if you haven't given it a shot yet. And on the right hand side, Young Justice Targets, written by Greg Weisman, writer of the Young Justice show, and also one of the creators of Gargoyles, along with art and cover by Christopher Jones. This is all set in the Young Justice animated universe on page 55.
That's cool.
Yep. And that's that.
All right.
For the previews. Yet again. And let's start us off into Dynamite here and see if anything catches our eye.
Dynamite.
Disney Villains Maleficent, #1. Sue Lee on the writing and art choice here as we proudly present Maleficent, Queen of the Forbidden Mountain. Stunning portrait of villainy from the world of Sleeping Beauty from writer-artist Sue Lee.
Yep, there's an interview with Ms. Lee on page 154 in which she says she was trying to stay away from what was done in the recent Angelina Jolie films. So this is going to be a different backstory for Maleficent and probably not quite as sympathetic a take, which I think is a good thing.
Agreed. Ooh, good artwork.
Oh, yeah.
It looks spectacular.
Yes, it does. Wow. Okay. And then Vampirella versus the Superpowers.
So, yep, Vampy and her sidekick Dynamite visiting a 1940s parallel world populated by public domain superheroes. And it's written by Dan Abnett.
Yeah.
Art by Pasquale Colano. So, yes, Abnett writing and Vampy meeting up with 1940s Golden Age superheroes. I'm going to read this.
Yeah. That's on page 159, by the way. Being a superhero is bloodthirsty work.
Yep, this isn't the first Vampirella versus the Superpowers miniseries that Dynamite has published. Don't care. I'm buying this one also.
I like the design of Dynamite. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Dr. Fate style comic.
First time I went over to the London Super Comic Convention, I bought a small press issue of issue #1 of a series called Afroella. like a blaxploitation space opera. And then that's kind of what Dynamite looks like to me.
Yeah. Ian, go back to that image above on 166.
Yep.
I love that cover.
That's really good.
And all the crazy vampires.
Oh my God.
Oh, Blackula's there too.
Yeah.
Count Von Count is in there.
Yep. Count Chocula's there. Count Duckula's there.
Grandpa Munster.
Grandpa from the Munsters. Oh,
the guy
Vincent
from the
Price.
Count Duckula's is back there.
All the way in the back. Yep.
How did they get away with this cover?
It doesn't matter. It's awesome. Even if they can't produce it because they get slapped with something, I've got it right here in front of me in a book.
Oh, wow. And look, right next to Grandpa Munster, that's Dracula from Mad Monster Party.
Oh, nice.
It looks like
Cast.
they even have the Frank Langella Dracula from the 79 film.
Wow.
I think.
Isn't that Vincent Price on the right there?
I think so.
It's just awesome.
Oh man, the only thing they needed was once again, because I just love bringing it up, the Dracula from that absolutely horrible animated movie, quote unquote.
Oh, the Tomb of Dracula.
Yes. Exactly. If only they had him eating a sandwich. But yeah, yeah.
Just Count Von Count, Count Chocula, Count Duckula alone is awesome.
Available in 2 editions, signed by Elvira herself. With Elvira in Monsterland is the story on page 167.
Is the original Elvira still alive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. She
Look
is.
at page 169.
And does she still make appearances?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She was. I thought I read somewhere that she was stopping that in soon.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think she might be winding down.
But yeah, she was the last year or two.
Yep.
What I remember.
How about that? Meanwhile, page 173, Fred Van Lente dipping his toes into the Pathfinder world. Pathfinder Wake the Dead. Pathfinder sort of like the second cousin twice removed of Dungeons and Dragons. As Pathfinder Wake the Dead includes playable character stats for the characters in the series itself, with art by Emin Casalos. Go along with Mr. Van Lente on page 173. A lot more from Dynamite this month than I would normally say. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Second issue of Scar coming out.
There's Rafiki in one of the. No, that's not Rafiki. That's Zazu.
Yes. Yep. And of course, we're on issue 6 now of Gargoyles, which means trade coming. Trade coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh man. Great cover there on page 183 too. The look on on Elisa's face is dynamite. And this is a cover drawn by Amanda Connor.
Now, Ian, I don't know if you know this, but there are recent figures of all the gargoyles out there.
I did.
They just announced Xanatos and oh my God, you just said her name. Elise.
Elise. Yeah.
They just announced those.
Oh wow.
To be pre-ordered.
Okay. I will do my best not to buy them.
I got Goliath, and it's great. It's awesome. But then they're started to have problems with the wings and the weight, and you don't get closed wings with any of them. In fact, you have to buy one of the other gargoyles to get Goliath's closed wings. So I just got Goliath and I stopped.
Okay.
They look spectacular, though.
I appreciate you resisting and showing restraint, Shane, because it would be hard for me to do so once I start.
Yeah, when I heard they were announced, I'm like, oh my God, foaming at the gargoyles.
I got the Tony Fleeks alternate cover here too.
Yeah. I really have to get back. I started rewatching the original series, and I really have to get back to that.
Yep. Yeah, I think I watched the first 3 episodes this summer, but obviously a lot more to go for me too.
Yeah.
I had rewatched season 1 right when Disney Plus started, and gotten back to rewatching it since. But I think I got all the way or mostly through season 1 when I did so.
Yeah, I did kind of like what Mora did, only the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Meanwhile, Darkwing Duck number 5, Darkwing back on the job, and Gosling wants in on the action. Page 187. Stuffing Darkwing into a locker.
I still can't figure out why these are just... I think Gargoyles is being developed, but I don't know why they're just not on Disney Plus already. This would have been a no-brainer when Disney Plus started, would be Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck, Rescue Rangers.
Just bringing them all back. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I know they did the movie, but for Rescue Rangers, but still.
That movie is great.
I didn't watch it yet.
It's really good. I enjoy it.
And just go back for a moment, please, to the 007 page. Thank you. I mentioned last time that the Philip Kennedy Johnson wrote a fantastic it was just entitled The 7 series. It just ended. This is the sequel to it, and explores another 00 agent from Bond's past who was like a mentor to him, and they get entangled in a deadly conspiracy. If you love Bond, this is great. James Bond, highly recommend it.
I like how they do their best to not have James Bond look like any particular Bond.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like it's kind of like they did like one of those face morphing apps, and they try to get like all of them together into one face, and like this is how our Bond is going to look.
Looks a little like Christopher Reeve, funnily enough.
You're not wrong. And now I can't unsee it. All right.
Barbarella.
I think that's it from... Oh, yes, most definitely it, because I'm scrolling by that. Garbage Pail Kids, not for me. Just going to continue.
No, not my thing either.
All right, and before we head to Aftershock, we make a dalliance over to Marvel. And for the first time in how many years? 5 years? We get to say there's a new Avengers #1. How about them apples? Oh, God. And these covers need to stop.
No.
I won't disagree. I love these covers, but I mean, I love Disney and I love the look of these covers, but I could do without them.
Yeah, they make no sense. They could at least put each one on the appropriate series. You know,
now,
put this one on Avengers instead of Amazing Spider-Man #25.
Yes.
This one sort of makes sense. The new Avengers, if it's on an Avengers cover.
Yes, but not Amazing Spider-Man #25.
No, not at all.
Like, what are they going to do? They're going to put in the corner, be like, this is actually Amazing Spider-Man #25. Like,
yeah.
Anybody who picks it up off the shelf, they're going to be like, oh, wow, hey, isn't this cool? And then they open it up, and they're like, what?
Yep.
End of the Spider-Man story. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
What I do get is getting Jed Mackay to write your Avengers, and CF Vila along with for the artwork, cover by Stuart Immonen, mind you. So that's fantastic. Variants by Mark Brooks and 87 other artists. This is a brand new start. Terminus is going to be one of the main villains of this initial arc here. I may actually be down for ground 4 here, just to check it out.
Terminus. Wow.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the team consists of Sam Wilson, Captain America, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Tony Stark, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain Marvel to start us off with.
Great roster.
So it's a damn good roster. Streamlining things back down after the 97 members of Jason Aaron's team, but that was what he was going for. And yeah, let's see how this turns out.
Shane of the Facsimile edition for you, couple.
Yep.
I know, right? I haven't picked up any of the Marvel ones though, just not for any particular reason, but I might pick up one of these.
These are major issues to have facsimile editions of Avengers.
Yeah.
Iron Man #1 on page 7.
I can say because it's been so warm, I keep turning my camera off because my allergies are going wacko all of a sudden.
I was wondering if it was your camera issues again.
No, that stopped. Although it happened once the other night, but since it happened so badly that first night, hasn't happened other than for a split second. So I went through a computer update, and hopefully that took care of it.
My desk is made of wood. I'm knocking on it. So.
Yeah. But no, I turned it off because no one needs to hear me blow my nose.
No worries. Edge of Spider-Verse #1 of 4. This is what I'm talking about. Into the other edge of the Spider-Verse, Spider-Rex returns and faces Venomsaurus. Page 10. I look forward to reading that. Plus,
I can't wait for that movie to come out.
Oh my God, yes. Issue 2 has Spinstress. She sings her way into the biggest fight of her life.
Huh. So it's a spider Disney princess, basically.
I believe you are right. Look at that Dr. Octopus that she's fighting, too. That's something
It's
special.
very Ursula-ish.
Yep.
Pretty good Green Goblin Maleficent design there, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Good pick, Mark.
Mm-hmm. I want to know who her dashing prince is.
Peter.
Probably.
Prince Peter.
Mm-hmm. Ah, man. Miracle Man by Gaiman and Buckingham. Miracle Man versus Young Miracle Man in issue 7. It's on. Page 12. Oh, yeah. Attention retailers. Miracle Man by Gaiman and Buckingham, the Silver Age #7 cover, was originally solicited for issue 6. The new cover for issue 6 will be revealed at a later date. Remember that.
Right.
Silk issue 1 of 5. Silk returns. Emily Kim and Igara on page 13 for new miniseries. Then Steve Orlando returns for more Spider-Man 2099. Dark Genesis. Is that a Scorpion Carnage?
Looks like it.
Yeah. Huh. Could be. Well, either way. Continues his journey through the future world of 2099, this time paired with bombastic artist Justin Mason of Spider-Punk. Get ready for the debut of the new heroes and villains that populate the future.
I can't keep up with all these big events anymore.
No,
I just
either.
can't.
No.
Blade 2099, Zombie Hunter. Yeah, Steve Orlando, you just keep doing what you're doing because I'm fucking every second of it right now. That's
looks pretty fun to me too.
yes.
Yep. Issue 5 mentions one of my favorite 2099 villains, Halloween Jack from X-Men 2099.
Ah, nice. You definitely have Venom 2099 along for the ride. Moon Knight 2099 and Spider-Woman 2099 as well. And Ghost Rider. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Beautiful artwork. Holy
Yeah,
mackerel.
it's neat in the black and white even. That image right there.
Yep. Page 18, Carnage Reigns Alpha by Alex Packnadel and Cody Ziegler with Julius Ota and more on the artwork. The cover by Ryan Stegman as we get Carnage versus Miles Morales.
I could just never get into Carnage.
I mean, what you can't get into to serial killers and the Marvel.
How is that movie?
What the Venom Carnage one?
Yeah.
Absolutely bat nuts insane.
Okay, because Woody Harrelson was Cletus Cassidy, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, that's promising.
Yeah.
He very much went full camp.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, and that's what made it work. I actually like it better than the first one in some ways for that very reason.
Yep. You have to go into it expecting a comedy, Chris.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
Yep. And Carnage Reigns Part 2 occurs in Miles Morales Spider-Man number 6 on page 20, and that is a freaky, scary cover right there. Boy, oh boy.
Naughty.
Yes. Extreme Venom.
This sounds very 90s to me, some of this stuff.
It sure does.
God.
Yep. Face front Venomaniacs.
What you gonna do when Venomania runs?
Well done, Merd.
Oh my
boy.
Starring.
Does he rip off a Venomania shirt?
I really hope so. I mean, we've seen him, with the chest burst a couple of times, all the symbiotes going everywhere. But yeah, Ryan North and Paolo Sequeira put a fresh and exciting spin on a story you may be familiar with, starring Eddie Brock as Spider-Man?
Sure.
Why not? Well, there was a Spider-Verse. Why not be a Venomverse? We get a Black Cat's Venom, for that matter.
Interested in the Storm and Ascenti doing a Storm miniseries on page 24.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't say enough how much I love this new costume that Storm's been wearing in X-Men Red. It is so great.
Alan Davis cover.
Yep. Faces the blowback of her powers in this 5-issue miniseries. Page 24. Oh yeah. That's a classic Storm right there.
It sure is.
Man. And whenever you get to see Davis draw Nightcrawler, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
All right. Yes. Groot, number 1 of 4, by Dan Abnett and Damian Cuchero. This better be wordless. Like I don't want any.
Pete Woods, always liked his artwork.
Yeah, I like
there'll
that
be
cover.
at least 3 words, Ian.
Yes.
Yeah. Over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not?
And maybe once because he did say that once in the movies.
Yep.
Maybe.
So it's like a Groot year 1 here. His sapling hood on Planet X.
Original Captain Marvel costume.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Warlock Merd.
Yep. Mars and Lim.
Yep.
Adam Warlock meets Eve Warlock. I just hope Messrs. Mars and Lim remember that there was a female Adam Warlock already. Called first Her and then Kismet and
That's
Aisha,
right.
a few different things. So hopefully this is that character and this is just not there trying to do something that's already been done in continuity.
I will cross my fingers.
Mars knows his stuff.
Mm-hmm. He does. I mean, I'm going to buy it no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a creative team alone.
Yep. Page 30 for that.
Look at this, Danny Ketch.
Yes, indeed. By Howard Mackey.
Yep.
Man, it is the 90s.
Yeah. And this one, similar to those Peter David Black Suit Spider-Man stories, this is set in 90s
It's
continuity.
flashback, yep.
All right. Gang war breaks out across New York City with Ghost Rider caught in the middle.
Fury.
Look at that Mark Texiera variant cover there, Ian.
Oh, that's really.
That looks like an old-fashioned trading card.
Yep, sure does.
How about this one? Oh, man. Whew. Love it, love it, love it.
I'm looking forward to this. Al Ewing, Scott Eaton, Tom Riley, Adam Kubert, Ramon Rosanas doing a deep dive in the history of Nick Fury. Who is Scorpio?
So they're doing what they did for Ant-Man and Wasp, only now with Nick Fury, from the looks of it.
Yep, and all in one 56-page one-shot.
Yeah, it's the writer's enough.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely getting that.
I'm not usually a big Nick Fury fan, but I too am on board for this one.
Yeah, I'll be reading that on Unlimited. No question about it. Daredevil and Echo miniseries by Taboo.
When is her show starting?
Good question. Actually, I think it starts before Daredevil does.
Okay. I think so too.
It's this year, isn't it? Isn't it this year? Or no?
I don't think it's
No?
this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they've set a date for it
Okay,
yet.
but Phil Noto on the artwork, always great.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And
Demo Goblin still around?
Emo Goblin.
God, I hated that character.
Emo Goblin is always around.
God. Such 90s detritus. Oh,
Look at this. Look at this cover
Yeah.
for Spider-Man
look
25.
at that Mary Jane. Look at that Mary Jane. Woof.
They've got to get volume 4 out. My oldest has informed me he's almost done volume 3.
Oh, there you go. There you go. The past and
It just
present.
says your heart isn't ready for this one.
Yep.
That does not bode well.
26. Now fully in the present. The emissary has returned and his power is so far beyond Spider-Man's abilities. Page 37. Ooh, family business. Red Goblin takes on Gold Goblin. Red and gold. Ooh, and the end of the Spider-Verse continues. Spider-Man number 8. That is a very dangerous lightning bolt there hitting
Sure is.
our titular character. His powers are supercharged, enabling him to be the best Spider-Man he can be. But can all this two-human body take it? A classic Spider-Man villain is back and doesn't care if Spidey has his hands full. Page 39. I got to catch up on this Spider-Man series. I've heard of some of the stuff that Dan Slott's been doing in the first couple of issues here, and it is some crazy stuff, including a side universe of the 616. It has basically all of the mistakes that Stan Lee made.
Oh, jeez.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, including like Peter Parker's name is wrong, and he's
Oh, wow. That's a deep dive right there. Whew.
the Ditko costume and everything. Like it's something else. David Michelini.
It's a bias, and whenever I see Venom, I just start to feel exhausted. I just feel exhausted. I think it's an anxiety that goes back to the 90s.
Well, I was around in those days, and I was looking at it with wide-eyed innocence,
Yeah.
Chris. But right now, I too am feeling a bit of symbiote
And
burnout.
it's probably not even fair, but it's just I had this visceral reaction.
Is it all?
It's a little bit fair.
Is it all 500 of his teeth that does it to you?
It's all 500 of his appearances this month in Marvel Comics.
Yes. And this is a question that I've been wanting to ask since the 90s. Who created the clones? It's a very important question.
There are more important questions.
It really is the 90s.
Ewing's Venom continues. Speaking of Venom, it's Al Ewing on it, and
Yeah, it's probably really good. I don't know the energy anymore.
Oh, and now Liz Allen has a symbiote attached to her.
Poor Liz. Liz has had a really difficult private life. My God.
it's a hard life.
The marriage to Harry, the Osborne legacy.
You marry an Osborne, that's what you get.
Then Fogg cheated on it when he was with her. Like, man.
Man, oh man.
That's on page 42, by the way.
It's indeed. And page 43, Cy Spurrier brings us X-Men Before the Fall.
No, never mind.
What's up?
I'm going to retract what I was going to say. Never mind.
Right,
Good.
you have
Yeah,
retract-
good.
Okay, Mulligan.
Mother Righteous, her role in Sins of Sinister unrevealed, takes another stab at Universal Control. Spurrier and Noto in that tale on page 43. Yeah, look at how awesome that costume
Great
is.
costume. You're a big fan of this title in general, aren't you, Ian?
It is
X-Men Red.
Great.
I have to catch up on that.
Ewing's doing such a wonderful job of spinning something very different than the regular X book, but still feels very X, even as we're set on frickin' Mars.
Has he been in the book since issue 1?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need.
Mm-hmm. And Abigail Brand has been a very central character in this as well.
Oh, all right. Oh, we talked about, remember we did our Magneto spotlight, we talked about how Magneto, quote, dies in this title.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so I want to read that.
And Immortal X-Men number 11. Wow, look at that cover.
Yeah, that's great.
The Stormbreakers variant by C.F. Villa is pretty great too. But Storm of Two Worlds. Sins of Sinister is over, but the Sins fallout remains. Storm can't believe what everyone has done, but when the fate of two worlds rests in her hands, what can she do about it? Kieran Gillen's Immortal X-Men. And Orcus Rising over in X-Men 22 on page 47.
That's right. It's 60 years of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Yep. Teenie Howard continues her Betsy Braddock Captain Britain series as well. The Fury of Doom. Page 48. Doom's involved. I'm interested.
It's gospel, honey.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
wow, look at that! Look at that cover. Oh, for Doctor Strange
gorgeous.
#3 by Alex Ross. Oh my God.
Yep. Page 51 for that one. Jed McKay's.
Dormammu.
Yep. Issue number 1 just came out today.
Excellent. Cannot wait to tackle that.
War Across Time is immensely fun. I've read issues 1 and 2.
Yep. I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Page 52 for that matter. Scarlet Witch #5. Just when Scarlet Witch thinks she's shielded Darcy Lewis from their newest enemy's vendetta, Scythia returns, covered in armor made from the same anti-magic rock Wanda's been studying. Magic, people, magic.
Wanda never gets a break.
Yeah, I know. Oh, wow. Talk about a great cover.
Just to be sadomasochistic, is that the real Black Widow or the Black Widow clone?
Sure.
Yep.
I don't know where they left off with that. I was just curious.
I'm pretty sure all we have is clone at this point.
Okay.
I think original gone bye-bye and clone is all we have, and no one's ever going to mention it again.
Okay, then I won't mention it again.
It's Snowball 2.
Yep.
Exactly.
The old continuity tick in me just reared its head there for a moment.
All good. Page 55, we get a battle of the Captain Americas in Captain America Cold War Part 4.
What matters, though, is what's next, because it's Christopher Cantwell doing Hellcat, which he did wonderfully when she appeared in Iron Man. So,
And talk about Iron Man.
yeah, look at that 80s cover. Woo, look at those costumes.
Yeah.
Wow, Shane, look at that. That's a tribute.
That is all 80s.
Yep, right down to the box in the corner. Oh,
Yeah.
Untold story of Iron Man versus the West Coast Avengers.
Oh,
Can't get more 80s than that. Oh. That hidden gem variant cover by Jack Kirby. This is very embarrassing.
this is issue 700. Yes,
700.
Colossal issue 700. Yep, you got it. Page 50, 58 and 59.
And of course,
Look at that
Doom.
cover.
Doom.
Oh yeah, you got to have Doom in a milestone issue of Fantastic Four.
I'll pick that up. See what's going on.
Clobber in Time #3 of 4 as Scroachy continues his Thing miniseries.
Bend goes to the Jersey Shore. Oh,
Sure, nothing bad is going to happen.
for a grim family reunion.
Yep.
I wonder which beach they're going to go to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Cosmic Ghost Rider, Stephanie Phillips and Juan Cabal on page 62. This just feels like a heavy metal cover right here. Like I could hear
like Dio in the background or something like that.
Yep.
Okay, Ian, I want you to know,
Yes.
and this is more for the comic talk, I bought and read She-Hulk Volume 1. Immensely satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy to hear.
I'll give a full field report in our next comic talk.
Fantastic.
Yep.
64, we get Hellcat, and that's going to make me happy.
By the way, the Jen Bartel covers are probably the most beautiful She-Hulk I've ever seen.
They are.
But looks real, like it's Jen. It's just so beautifully done. Ah,
Absolutely. Joe Fixit issue 5 of 5 in the smashing finale, Peter David and Yildiray Sinar.
it's a great cover.
Wow, look at that Hulk.
Well, nothing can go wrong there.
Oh, yeah. Page 65. Hulk versus Giganto.
Gary Frank cover.
Yes. Right. I think we're almost into the trades period here, or at least into the Star Wars period, that is. Look at that land.
Licensed properties.
Yep. Star Wars Lando. Yes. Return of the Jedi Lando #1. Stephanie Phillips and Alvaro Lopez. That is an awesome
Sure is.
Yeah, that is.
Page 74. You can hear him talking just by looking at it.
I do. I really think back finally to Donald Glover. I thought he was amazing as the young man. I thought he was amazing.
And I know that there was talk of a show, and then that got kiboshed.
It's too bad.
That would have been awesome.
When he opened his closet of capes. Oh,
yeah.
And he's recording it in his journal. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, wow. Page 77 here. The Broken Saber of Skywalker.
Consistently outstanding series.
I am so far behind on this
very
series.
Good. Any Star Wars fan should always go to the flag title. Marvel's done a great job for you. How many years ago did Marvel get Star Wars again? It's been what, several?
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Yeah, excellent.
I mean, this is the second or third iteration of the Star Wars title.
Jason Aaron, then it was Kieran Gillen, it was Charles Soule. So now talk about omnibuses. This section's full of them, Shane.
You better believe it. Yep.
No wonder the book is so big.
Page 82 has the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 3. Bendis and Bagley, along with Stuart Eminem and Mark Brooks.
What a great series in its day.
So good. Ultimate Spider-Man 72 through 11 and annuals 1 and 2 are all included in that one. And then the Spencer Omnibus. Yep. That one went off the rails, but
I never read that one.
Ooh-yee.
Now, what is not ooh-yee is this.
Yes.
So this is late Silver Age glory. Avengers Omnibus Volume 3. This is the Roy Thomas, John Buscema primarily. This is the roll call of glory for the Avengers, this period. So this issues 59 to 88. So right before the Kree-Skrull War. Pretty much every issue is great.
Yep.
I mean, look at the Wedding of Wasp and Yellowjacket. Again, what could go wrong there? Hawkeye becomes Goliath. Ultron, Kang, Grandmaster, Squadron Sinister, Black Panther, the Sons of Serpent. These are classic stories. Classics. Oh, Mora, the Lady Liberator story.
Yikes.
Yeah, this is ladies and gentlemen, this is essential Avengers right here.
Look at that Alan Davis cover they have for one of the options. That's something.
And then you've got then you have Volume 4, which that picks up right with the Kree-Skrull War.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, fantastic. And then look at this.
Wow.
Great Bronze Age stuff, including a classic Kang story, issues 120 to 149, and the first appearance of Patsy Walker as Hellcat.
Excellent.
Also good stuff. Englehart, great.
85 for that one. And talk about great. Page 80.
The Brubaker Captain America run is legendary.
Mm-hmm. Both the Captain America Lives and the Captain America, The Trial of Captain America reprinting here. X-Men.
Oh, Shane, look at this. Hidden Years.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Good story.
Great stuff.
Yep. And I love the fact that, and this is on page 88, by the way, I love the fact that John Byrne continues to make his X-Men fan fiction that continues.
Does he really? I didn't know that.
I don't know if he's been doing it on the regular recently, but he has at least 12 or 13 issues.
Really?
Of X-Men, quite literal fan fiction that he's been drawing and writing over the past couple of years that continue. Huh. He never left the book.
I didn't know that.
That's interesting. What does he put it up on his website?
Yeah, it's on his website. It's in other places, and it's mostly sketchy, not full.
Right.
Yeah.
And then other people have inked it and made finalized versions of the artwork. So track that down somewhere. It's interesting.
These stories, though, if you're interested in the original X-Men and these are great stories about those lost years. Really well done.
Yep. Wolverine Omnibus directly underneath that on page 89.
Just a slew of omnibuses.
God, I could build a house with them.
Shane's gonna have to leave this episode with a back problem just thinking about it.
You're not kidding. God.
Sins of Sinister all collected in one package on the next page 90. Just wrapped up a little while ago.
More Marvel Zombies.
Yep.
They wrote that Into the Ground right down to the Earth's molten core.
I think this includes the series where Jack of Hearts initially returned.
Oh,
if I remember,
which is very relevant to She-Hulk, as I just learned.
Which was pointed out on the super group on Facebook by a listener.
Yeah.
But are any Marvel Zombies things actually in continuity though, or are they all like out there?
I thought they were all out there.
I thought they were too, but I think this may have been one where the zombies were in our world, like quote unquote our world, like they were in the 616. But I could be wrong. Speaking of John
Good
Byrne,
stuff. Good stuff.
Alpha Flight,
man. Oh,
yep.
Anyone who's interested in a really excellent 80s Marvel, like if you love 80s Marvel and just all that goes with what I just said, and you know the feel of John Byrne from the 80s, this is great stuff. I highly recommend it.
Yep.
Especially those first 12 issues. Just excellent.
How about right underneath that, the Marvel?
Yeah.
God, that was good.
Part of the
so good.
Great.
Marvel Masterworks.
Page 93 has
Remasterworks.
Volume 22. Got some Chris Priest work in that one.
Oh, yep, early on. Wonder if it was James Owsley at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they're continuing the Masterworks. I really wish DC would have continued some of their archives.
Archives were great.
Yeah, I love their Justice League ones. Legion ones were good too.
Isn't there a Justice League one you're still looking for, Shane?
No, I tracked it down. I
You
have
did?
all
Okay,
the
that's
Justice League archives.
The Lost Hunt page.
I have the first couple issues of that. I haven't read it yet.
James Mateus returning to Spider-Man.
I am going to get that trade. I've been waiting for that to come out.
The Lost.
I follow James DeMatteis on Facebook, and when he was posting stuff about it, I'm like, put the trade out. Put the trade out.
Talk about a trade to own 106 Wasp Small Worlds. Al Ewing's take on the Wasp this time around. 4 issues, including material from Tales to Astonish number 44.
Love all the costumes.
Yes. All right. I think that's.
Go back. I'm sorry. Go back to that Spider-Man. So this is an important book for me because this is Spider-Man Epic Collection, Ghost of the Past, Volume 15. So Mert and I have a loving disagreement on Tom DeFalco as a Spider-Man writer. I was religiously reading Spider-Man. This is from the 1980s, like latter 1980s. And I love these stories. And they really go heavily into the Hobgoblin in these stories. The actual Hobgoblin, not the silly Ned Leeds later on thing they did. And it's still, they're very much carrying through the mystery of who was the Hobgoblin, which dominated the books at this time. I remember I was like in, I don't know, middle school. I was so enraptured with these stories. Like, who's the Hobgoblin? But there's a lot. I love the stories of Spirit. I'm probably going to pick this book up. And
Dan Gavazden, friend of the show, the upcoming new season of the Amazing Spider Talk will be focusing on the DeFalco Friends era of Spider-Man. So that's
terrific.
That is to come in podcast form.
The Epic collections, they're color, right?
Yes, they're color.
Okay.
They are. They're just like a weaker paper stock.
Masterworks.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see anything else here. Epic Collection, Joe Kelly Deadpool work, Volume 4 of that. Got some Pete Woods artwork to go along with that from back in the late 90s. And Chris Claremont, New Mutants, Volume 3.
That looks dangerous like the Beyonder in an 80s suit.
It sure do. It really, really does. It's back to school with an unexpected new headmaster, Magneto. Those were the days right there, page 117. Okay, and that is that for Marvel.
I got about 15 more minutes, honey. Then I got to head out.
Excellent.
I am actually going to stop here.
Sounds good.
Shane,
Thank you,
we're
gents.
thrilled that you could join us, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Have a good night,
brother.
all.
You too.
Talk to you soon.
Byes.
Ciao.
Bye. All right. Aftershock does not really have any solicitations this month.
Now, is that company in bankruptcy?
Mhm.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Pretty much in arrears. They've got one new issue solicited in this previews catalog. Steve Orlando's Bulls of Beacon Hill #5 on page 207, and the rest is just trades.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's
these collections of stuff we've already published to help us, pay our bills.
Basically.
There's a. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
There's in the Titan section. There's a wonderful looking Hulk history retrospective, I believe.
Oh, yes.
And actually, it looks like they're reprinting. I'm sorry, and go back to the Savage Sword of Conan. I apologize. I totally missed that.
By all means.
So that's really exciting. They're reprinting because that's right. Marvel doesn't have the Conan. Who has the Marvel doesn't have the Conan license anymore, right?
It's straight up with Titan. Yeah.
Okay, so they're reprinting the classic Bronze Age stuff here. So from the original Marvel flagship title, and then of course, if you go scroll down further, the black and white magazine I loved it. I read it spottily as a kid, but I mean it's Roy Thomas, Neil Adams, John Buscema. It's just stunning stuff.
Yeah.
So and Buscema always said he loved doing the sword and sorcery. So you see it in his work very much.
That's page 220 and 221. Jamie Lee Curtis, by the way.
Wow.
Writing Mother Nature. It's an eco horror graphic novel that's co-written by Jamie Lee Curtis on page 222. You're witnessing her father die on one of the Cobalt Corporation's experimental oil extraction projects. Nova Terrell.
Art is beautiful. Carl Stevens. Wow.
He relied upon the town of Catch Creek. We go from there. Yep. No,
sorry, honey. I stepped on your copy reading there. By the way, I apologize.
Oh, good. 226. Yep.
Look at this. So a 60-a-year tribute to the Hulk.
Yep.
Explores the complex history of the Hulk, looking at death of his greatest battles, deadliest enemies, and his unlikeliest allies. Profiles the talented creators behind his ongoing. But this sounds great.
It really does. Yeah. Nice reference.
Wow. Yeah. The classic Steranko image from the king size special from the late 60s.
To go with the Fantastic Four and Captain America and Deadpool books that they've done before as well. Good job. All right, scrolling down further into the previews, page 230. Animal Castle Volume 2. Xavier Dorison brings us more from the hit series Animal Castle. And this takes place shortly after the events of Volume 1, with Miss B trying to convince the animals not to give into violence in order to put an end to Silvio's reign. So we got animals, and we got more animals on page.
Look at those animals hugging. God, that's beautiful art. So cute.
It is. And the
this is stunning artwork. Woo.
Painterly artwork to go along with it. Page 234, Centaurs Volume 1 by Ryo Simayoshi. This is the manga that's being collected here by Ablaze. 180 pages in black and white. It's the epic fantasy adventure set in alternate medieval Japan, where humans coexist with the mythic half-man, half-horse beasts known as centaurs, or Jinba. Centaur race were long revered as deities in ancient times. However, with the advent of the Sengoku, our warring states period, humans started to enslave and use them for military purposes. And this deals with the fallout of that on page 234. Full collection here, 180 pages of Centaurs, Volume 1 on page 234. Great looking manga action here. And a new Lovecraft book on page 239, Lovecraft Unknown Kadaf. Written by H.P. Lovecraft himself, adaptation by Florentino Flores with artwork by Guillermo Sana and Jacques Salomon. We get some adaptations of Lovecraft's finest here with fully rendered artwork in comic book form on page 239. See if there's any new stuff here in the. No, I guess not. It's all the same for the most part, and that version. The look at the Cerebus in Hell presents one shot. Dave Sim continuing his parodies of existing properties here. This time tackling the Avengers on
Sure is.
Good old versions.
So the Strangers in Paradise Omnibus. Anyone who hasn't read this book and you really appreciate what the comic book medium can accomplish, this is a writer artist who's at the peak of his power. This is a master class. So we talked about this book many times on the air, but it's good to see that reissued.
One of Jamie's favorites as well.
Yep.
For many a good reason. And Terry Moore was on multiple times, right?
Yep.
Discussing it. Yep. Right on top of that, by the way, Abrams Comics Art Grand Slam Romance Volume 1. Ollie Hicks and Emma Oosterhouse. This seems right up my alley. In this queer graphic novel that's equal parts romance, softball, and magical girl drama. That's the only explanation I really need. Nikki Monsoon, there we go with our further alliteration, is the hotshot pitcher for the Bell City Broads, and her team is poised to sweep the league this season. But Mickey is thrown off their game when Astra Maxima shows up to catch for the Gaiety Gals, the Broads' fiercest rival. And of course, insanity ensues from there. 52 Grand Slam Romance Volume 1. Getting ready for baseball season. Marvel School of X Phoenix Chase softcover coming out by Aconite. Kid Omega book. It's a novel, but it's all about Kid Omega, one of my favorite X-Men of the past couple of years, as the remaining kidnap his students, demanding a rare Phoenix egg, source of the awesome Phoenix Force. And Kid Omega has to try to rescue his fellow X-Men and more, while there's Shi'ar Empire fighting going on and tons more in this
Starjammers. Yep.
Marvel School of X Phoenix case, page 253.
And there on 254 is one of the things I was most excited to see this month. It's the featured item up there on the top from Phil Folio's Airship Entertainment. It's Myth Adventures, an adaptation written and drawn by Mr. Folio, whom some folks out there may know from his Girl Genius series of graphic novels. Others would know him from stuff he did for DC in the early 90s, like Stanley and his Monster. And he's also the guy who's been hosting the costume contest at the San Diego Comic-Con for a couple of decades now. Very, very funny, gifted artist. He does humor very well. He also draws sexy women very well. And this is his adaptation originally as a 12-issue series from Warp Graphics back in the 80s of Robert Lynn Asprin's first Myth novel. It was a whole series of sort of sword and sorcery / buddy comedy novels set in kind of a Dungeons and Dragons style world. It was Another Fine Myth was the name of the first book, adapted here as Myth Adventures. It's been out of print for a very long time. It came out in the 80s. I've managed to collect only issues 7 through 12 of this thing. The rest are very hard to find. So here's all 12 of them collected in a single soft cover for $39.95. And just speaking of things that I know Jamie would have approved of, because I know he read the works of Mr. Aspirin as well, and he was a Phil Folio fan. He and I were reading Girl Genius at the same time back in the mid 2000s. Yeah, so I'm this definitely is a big old bye from me.
And it says Tim Sale's first professional work as an inker.
Oh yes, it's inked by a very young Tim Sale.
Wow. Okay.
Great notice there, Murd.
Yeah,
gentlemen, I have to depart soon too as well. I apologize. I haven't seen my wife yet today, and I have crap to do, but not let's say my wife is crappy, but other house crap.
I assume you wanted to jump straight to tomorrow's.
Before we get to tomorrow's, my friend, would you mind going to page 304?
I think I know what we're going to find there.
Yep.
Excellent.
Could it be a war comic of some kind?
Indeed. Two things actually I want to put on page 304.
Is it Mr. Ennis or is it someone else?
No, it's someone else.
It's someone else. So yeah, this is not the page I was expecting.
All right, page 304, and here we
Murd, did I miss a war comic before that?
No, I think there was an Ennis war comic. I think later on.
Okay.
Oh, well, we have. I didn't even see that.
Well, I'll try to dig it up.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yep.
I'm looking at Shigeru Mizuki's Hitler.
Hmm.
So this is one of the great masters of the manga form. He did the legendary show, A History of Japan, which I have. Big Jim gave me that as a gift, wonderful gift, and I've been going through that. I mean, if you want to understand the history of Imperial Japan, the World War II era leading up to it, then the aftermath, but you want to read it as a graphic novel, that's what you want to go to. It's amazing. Here he's doing a biographical overview of Hitler, and I've been doing a lot of research on Hitler lately for my own podcast that I'm developing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the story of Hitler now in the hands of such a master of the graphic form as Mizuki. So I'm really excited to get this. So I highly recommend that if you're interested in a history comic. And below that, an indie creator I've always admired, Adrian, is it Tomini?
I think it might be Tomine. I could be wrong.
Tomine, okay.
I agree with Ian.
Murd, you're the linguist. I indeed. So I love the Optic Nerve comic he did. Which were just slice of life stories about often young people, sort of trying to navigate their way through that netherworld of the 20s and your 20s. And a lot of the stories, that they go into they kind of peel back like layers of facades you wear and kind of go into some more disturbing, darker elements of life of people trying to kind of flail and claw their way through relationships and all that goes with it. They're really well done. And if you like those types of comics, he's one of the great masters of that genre. So I highly recommend that.
Excellent.
Where was that in his comic? Where I can't believe I missed that.
Page 389.
Wow.
89. I'm just going to scroll right down to it right now.
Oh,
Right, there we go.
Murd, you just saved me.
Super duper scroll. Let's see, 389. I will get there. My God, there's a lot of pages.
I apologize, gentlemen. Thank you for the indulgence.
I don't know. All good. I will get there. Here we are. Okay.
So a battle action, which I think is an old British comic book war series, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So be
389. 389. I'm sorry.
389. Yep.
There we go. Excellent. Boom.
It's being revived, written by Garth Ennis and John Wagner.
Wow.
So they're doing Johnny Red, who's a British pilot who flew for the Soviets. In an older British comics, which Ennis revived him earlier on too. Oh, this looks great. Okay, thanks, Murd.
Also offering again the Battle Action special hardcover that's by Ennis and various artists directly underneath that on 389 for anybody who may have missed the initial ones. So
superb. Yeah, tomorrow's lesson I want to point out, Ian, you know me well.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, look at back issue. Oh,
all right.
God.
There we go. And
again, I apologize to the audience for my earlier departure, but
wow,
I'm fading.
Spider Rogues, baby. Wow.
Yeah, so it's a Bronze Age. Well, it's back issue. It's always Bronze Age specific. They're going to all the classic Spider-Man villains that were utilized in the Bronze Age, including, of course, the Jackal, the Tarantula, Puma, Carrion, Ross Andrew, one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man artists. Dan Gavaz is going to eat this magazine up. Holy mackerel.
You better believe it.
Al Buscema, Jerry Conway, Kane, DeFalco. Oh, great. So definitely picking up that.
And the comic book creator this month is
Graham Nolan.
Graham Nolan, yep.
On page 412. Comic Book Creator is a wonderful magazine. Right now I'm reading the latest issue that came out. That they do a wonderful interview with Don McGregor, which is a wonderful retrospective of his career. And he's such a wonderful storyteller.
The one thing on this solicitation, Chris, that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
You spotlight the night Marvel Comics invaded Carnegie Hall. Where Stan Lee and the whole blamed bullpen put on a notorious and near catastrophe in 1972.
Is that in that back issue?
That is in that comic.
Okay. That's Ian, great pick. That's a fascinating story from Marvel history.
Yep.
It was like a bridge too far at that point for Marvel multimedia, but it's a great story.
Wow.
So, gentlemen, I salute you.
Mm-hmm.
As always, I feel better now.
Our pleasure, sir, and we shall talk to you next time around.
You bet. Good night, guys. Take care. Bye.
Very well, sir.
Iacon Rios. All right.
And so our numbers halved. We retrace our steps.
Indeed. All right. I think I'm just about where I was just by bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And if I wasn't, then close enough, because there's a lot of pages this month, I feel like. So
it does feel kind of a fat catalog this month, doesn't it?
Indeed. Yep. Well, I fell onto some stuff that I wanted to discuss on page 279 anyway, so we might as well just begin here. And if I missed anything, my apologies. The Color of Always, an LGBTQIA love anthology coming out on page 279. Love my anthologies, and this one is representative of everybody, and I fully appreciate it for that. Obviously, various artists and writers on this one, with a terrific cover by Elisa Ramboli to put it into perspective, and only $20 for the anthology as well. So yeah, looking forward to how that's going to go. And I think was there anything else on this page? You know what? No, it wasn't this one. Directly underneath it, however, on page 280, Jeremy Holt and Felipe Cunha bring us Gatsby. Now an original graphic novel.
I think they were going to try to print this as a mini-series, but they've decided to just clump it all together and release it as one volume.
I am okay with that, because you get it all, and I feel like that's a much better idea than splitting it into miniseries form anyway, because it's the Great Gatsby. Let's get it all at once, shall we? 280 looks like it's going to be a really interesting adaptation, and that artwork is great.
Forward by Billy Porter.
Excellent. Fantastic. Just saw him in 80 for Brady a couple of days ago. Dan Panosian finishes Black Tape on page 282. So we'll have a trade of that coming in the not too distant future. And then scrolling down to Amazing Camel Toe on page 285. It's called the Amazing Camel Toe, and I have to mention it for that very reason.
Yep, it's title sells it.
Absolutely. Constance, a modern young illustrator, takes revenge for the thousands of attacks suffered daily by women with a comic of her own, titled The Amazing Camel Toe, celebrating the adventures of an anti-macho vigilante in tight panther leggings. A hero who battles against sexism, harassment, slut-shaming, and unrealistic standards of beauty. That sounds about right. Nice.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't expect anything else from a name like that. You know what? I think I just remembered when we left off where we were, there was one book, and I'm just going to scroll back up real quick. See if I can actually find it.
Word scroll.
I know. I'm trying to remember exactly where we were. So this is where we were.
Yep, right there.
Okay, so that's that. Is it something right on top of it? All right, you know what? I feel like I'm never going to find it, so that's fine. And if I do come across it after the fact, then that's no biggie. So, all right, good. At least I know I wasn't too far from where we were. So that's what matters. There was something Brooklyn related that. Oh,
you know what? That was on the first page that Chris wanted us to jump to.
Okay, good. Then we haven't gotten to it yet.
Yep, it's still ahead of us.
Excellent, fantastic. All righty. Anything ahead that you want to touch on, sir?
Well, on page 293 from CEX Publishing, not SEX, mind you, but CEX, we have the second issue of a 2-issue miniseries about the life and times of Yosef the Cosmonaut Gorilla. So it's just another example of something that would be Jamie approved because it's got a gorilla on the cover and gorillas sell comics.
100% the case. Nice. David Barzi and Fabiano Ambu on the writing and artwork choice there. And then we get some very classic stuff. 295, we get Terry and the Pirates, The Master Collection, Volume 5, 1939, The Hypnotic April Kane. collecting further of the Terry and the Pirates work. Resolicited are a bunch more of it, but tabloid size volume 5 containing the 1939 dailies and Sundays is an unparalleled upgrade that no Terry fan can afford to pass up.
11 inches by 14 inches.
Yep. Not too shabby.
Yep. Probably pretty close to the size in which it was presented in newspapers back in the day.
That is true. 297 brings us something very interesting, which is Dark Horse again.
Yes, Dark Horse Addendum. They've got their usual section in the front of the book, and then they've got this second section, this back matter here in the general pages in the back of the catalog. This is where they seem to have put all of their trades and collections and OGNs and things.
Yep. And one of them that I will point out, just because you mentioned the continuation earlier on page 299, they do solicit Maskerade Volume 1, which would be the first volume of Kevin Smith's Maskerade, collected in hardcover form here. Mm-hmm. So that's worth checking out if you want to continue with the continuation that has now been solicited.
And on page 300, we can't miss this one because they actually canceled all previous solicitations. So if you pre-ordered it, you're going to have to pre-order it a second time. This is on page 300, The Rock Gods of Jackson, Tennessee, trade paperback, written by Rafer Roberts, art by Mike Norton, and various.
Yep.
It's an original tale of a bunch of friends who have their own garage band in Tennessee in 1989, and looks like they have to endure just typical teenage problems and also rampaging hordes of mutated monsters.
You know, just another day of the week. It also sounds very Norton, and I'm sure the artwork for it will very, very much bring that across.
Yeah. And Rafer Roberts knows how to tell a rollicking, weird, good story, too. So those two are a good combination.
Absolutely. Page 301 also brings us The World of Black Hammer Omnibus Volume 1. Jeff Lemire, along with David Rubin and Max Fujimara, bringing us further adventures in the world of the Black Hammer universe. And then we're done with Dark Horse again and move. Page 302, what a name. Octobriana and the Underground, Full Tilt Boogie.
Somebody's been watching Cowboy Bebop.
They most certainly have, yep. Following on from the All-Star Octobriana with Love 50th Anniversary Edition, Octobriana and the Underground are back. Get ready for 2 exciting tales and a special 2-page recap of the previous events for new readers. So great, you even get a previously on Octobriana. All there on page 302. Man, ooh, boy. Damn, that artwork is fine.
Yeah, not bad. And I think I see a gorilla.
Indeed. And gorillas sell.
All right, now we get back to that thing that you spotted that you wanted to mention.
Bandana. Yep, 304, Brooklyn's Last Secret. A trade paperback by Leslie Stein in her first full-length fiction. Brooklyn's Last Secret, there's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, sure, but there are also tender moments as the motley crew take turns behind the wheel, compiling lists of the hottest hunks and best guitar riffs to pass the miles. From tour fashion to breakdowns, mechanical and emotional, Leslie Stein holds no bars in this incredibly funny and heartfelt love letter meets parody of life on the road. This was previously solicited in the new to order section, and now it is 100% available as a spotlight from Drawn and Quarterly on page 304, and sounds like a very, very good time. Love the chibified artwork on the cover, too.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very like mid 90s NBC on the logo.
Yeah, I am feeling that.
Yep. All right. Let's go further along here and find some other standouts as we get further along. How about this one right here on 313? Finding, I of course, I go from Brooklyn to Jews. Like this, somehow I magically find my my inner child is very happy. Intertwined, the last Jewish daughter of Kai Feng, by Fabrice Sapolsky, with artwork by Fei Chen and Ho Sang Hui. In time for Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, as well as Jewish American Heritage Month. Fan favorite series Intertwined is back with a 76-page special dedicated to the only Asian Jewish character in comics, the new Spirit of Water. That is so cool. Something you don't see every day.
Absolutely.
I'm sure my Japanese Jewish cousins will be very happy to see this.
That's right.
Page 313.
It's pretty convenient that AAPI Heritage Month and Jewish Heritage Month are happening in the same month.
Yeah, I know. Yep. We we try to pack them all in as much as possible. I mean, after all, we know that Jews love Chinese food, so it just makes perfect sense. Then far south, Crooks, Pimps, and Gauchos on 314. This looks like it might actually also be up Chris's alley. An arid and wild land cut off from the world, tough and hot-blooded men, crime, alcohol, revenge. This is where the taciturn Montoya runs a bar where the worst scoundrels in the area come to settle their differences or talk about their setbacks. That is what far south Crooks, Pimps, and Gauchos brings us on page 314. Sin City-style action in the ancient land of the Gauchos. A different kind of Western. 4 new takes. Yes.
Some 90s Disney material here from Fantagraphics on page 318. A couple of collections of stuff that originally ran in Disney Adventures and its sister magazines.
Nice.
Got a volume of Disney One Saturday Morning Adventures. A series seen on ABC's Saturday morning block in the late 90s, early 2000s. We're talking Pepper Ann, we're talking Recess, even, Winnie the Pooh, the new adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and Mickey Mouse Works. And below that, a collection of Tailspin comics. Tailspin Flight of the Skyraker, the Disney Afternoon Adventures, Volume 2, featuring some adventures of Baloo and Kit Cloud Kicker and Company, and some artwork by Michael T. Gilbert of Mr. Monster fame.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't even know that those ones existed, the Tailspin ones.
Yeah. Oh, and there's even some DuckTales and Chippendales Rescue Ranger stories thrown in for good measure.
Okay. All right. I'm
Plus
for
Darkwing Duck, the Gummy Bears, and more.
Okay. Why not? 318 is very much my page, and I'm going to have the Pepper Ann theme song stuck in my head for the rest of the night now.
Pepper Ann, much too cool for 7th grade. Pepper Ann, she's like 1 in a million.
I was glad when they finally added that to Disney Plus. It wasn't in the initial catalog, and then about a year later, they finally added it in.
Oh, hideous oversight. I'm glad they corrected that.
It also even has some brand spanking new Doug in it from the cover.
Oh, yeah. There he is with Pork Chop playing his banjo. Oh, and if you're a fan of more classic Disney comics, at the bottom of page 318, Fantagraphics is up to volume 28 of its reprintings of the complete Carl Barks Duck comics. Uncle Scrooge and the Cave of Alibaba.
Nice. 319, friend of the show and excellent creator, Mr. Jeremy Whitley, has a new comic out. Philo and Friends is putting out the Dog Night Volume 1. Along with Bray Indigo on the artwork chores. Frankie knows who they are. They're a drummer, they're non-binary, and they're the Dog Knight. I hope there's at least 3 dog nights, but one day Frankie is a relatively normal middle schooler with relatively normal challenges, like finding the perfect outfit to wear during their upcoming drum solo. And they save a friendly golden retriever from bullies and wake up at a giant magical dog house with a funny looking helmet talking to a group of dog superheroes called the Pawtheon. This is amazing.
3 dog nights. Just took a sledgehammer to my funny bone there, Ian.
Too easy. Come on.
I know, it's just there's a target painted on it right there.
Absolutely. But yeah, this looks like so much fun. It's absolutely so much fun. Glad that Jeremy's putting this out, and the Pawtheon. Mwah.
Yes.
Kiss right there.
Chef's kiss from me too.
Page 319 for that. Do check it out. It's going to be well worth your time. Go further down to the featured items here. Joe Jusko's art of the 1992 Marvel Masterpieces hardcover, page 321. I am so familiar with these cards. They were way part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they were yours, Murd. Very much so.
I definitely have a complete collection at home in an old Trapper Keeper.
Nice. And yeah, I'm glad to see these, blown up for everybody to see in hardcover form, as they're beautifully rendered renditions of Marvel's characters from the 90s. And can't wait to see that in full hardcover form there on 321.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jusko's iconic interpretations of these characters are in many cases still the first image I see in my head when a certain character's name is mentioned.
Yep.
Loki is a prime example.
Very good point. Yep. Those long helmet horns.
Horns, yeah.
Yep. All right. Get further in here. I'm just going to keep finding Marvel books not in the Marvel section to talk about, because 328, friend of the show yet again. This is a novel, but it has Schoonover artwork in it. And Captain America: The Ghost Army hardcover, Alan Gratz, along with Mr. Brent Schoonover, tell this thrilling historical adventure set during World War II, as Steve Rogers and Bucky encounter threats like they've never seen. A ghost army. Dead of this war and wars past are coming back to life, impervious to bullets, flames, or anything else the Allies can throw at them. And now Cap and Bucky have to take that head on and take that army down.
And just what does the mysterious Baron Mordo, sitting in his castle atop nearby Wundagore Mountain, have to do with this? Well,
yep.
Bringing in some elements from another corner of the Marvel Universe there.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah, creative hybridity there. Well done, Mr. Gratz.
Indeed.
And I'm sure Brent's artwork is going to be a welcome enhancement.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Also on that same page, by the way, I'm not going to talk too much about them, but just the names: Bipolar Bear and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good Health Insurance, and Queen of Snails, a graphic memoir, are immediately called out for their names alone out of Graphic Monday Sue Press, also on 328. And Harper Alley's FG Teeve. Is that how you're supposed to say it?
TV, I would guess.
Thank you. Yeah, the solicitation doesn't help.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, that looks straight out of 90s like cartoons right there, just from the artwork of it all. That would fit right in with Disney Saturday Morning or what have you. FGTV, Out of Time graphic novel.
Yep. It's like a late 90s cartoon.
Yep. Good point. Page 329. Another Phantom collection on page 330. The complete dailies from 1977 to 1978. Featuring artwork by Seymour Cy Barry and writing by Lee Falk. Over in Humanoids, 332 brings us The Incal, Dying Star by Dan Waters and John Davis Hunt. The legends of the Inkal universe return with new voices. It's an otherworldly adventure in the spirit of Star Wars, Solo, and Firefly, with a touch of romance that will attract fans of Saga. They know what to call out to get people interested.
Yeah.
All there for you on 332, and accompanying artwork on the next page, 333, looks very interesting. Kind of like a, like it almost looks like flats. It doesn't necessarily look like there's a lot of depth to it, but there also is at the same time.
Yeah.
A very unique style of artwork.
So, kudos to the colorist for that.
Indeed. Well, they give us a lot more of this story than I thought they did. Yeah, so you can read all about that up until about page 338. Get a solid of like 7 pages worth of artwork there for you. And Gurvan, A Dream of Earth brings us a legendary space opera in English for the very first time on page 339. Humanoids does a good job of bringing stuff we would not normally get in English to the English text. Mm-hmm. This is another instance of that here.
Yep. European imports, their specialty.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed. Yet again, you got plenty of pages of preview artwork there up until about 342 to check it out. And onward to IDW.
Which has gotten better, I'm happy to say, this month about providing cover images for their books.
Very happy to see that. Especially 348, just to throw out some first issues that happen to be happening. One of them, Catfight. Andrew Wheeler and Elias Kriazi. John Wick meets Kill Bill meets Cats? That's a combination. Felix lives a life of high fashion and indulgence. He steals to get it, but he gets it on his own nonetheless. When a mysterious character by the name of Schrodinger, threatens Felix's only surviving family member in an attempt to recruit him into the crime syndicate, Felix is sent on a globe-trotting game of cat and mouse in a heightened world of colorful criminal masterminds. Mm-hmm. Shock of shocks, his name is Felix, and he's dealing with Schrodinger.
Mm-hmm. The connection there is cats.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, and we finally get to see what George Cambadeas' artwork looks like for the new Dungeons & Dragons Saturday Morning Adventures comic that IDW is doing, and it looks good.
It does. It looks awesome. It really does. That's there on 348. Very much in the spirit of the show. And Star Trek actually gets a cover. How about that? It only took them 8 issues. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing continuing their Star Trek series with Mike Feehan on the artwork as the newly established Obsidian Council of Cardassia Prime has spoken. The time has come for Benjamin Sisko to stand trial for the atrocities he ordered. Let's see what the ramifications of that are on page 349. And Cantwell's Defiant gets 2 issues this month. Look at that Deep Space Nine, the dog of war. Corgi and all.
Corgi in space.
That's page 50 right there.
But again, Bebop did it first.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is very, very true.
Oh, and speaking of Saturday morning adventures, IDW is starting up a TMNT Saturday morning continuation comic. Page 350. It's going to be written by Eric Burnham with art by Tim Laddie. And the first arc involves the Rat King gaining the power to control reptiles, even as he starts to lose his powers to control rats.
Interesting.
Grab a bowl of cereal and be there for part 1 of The Turtle King.
Let's see. I'm actually hoping that there's a cover to go with it on the internet already, because I want to know what the actual artwork is going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's helpful to know that to make an informed decision.
Hoping to find it right now, and the answer is think. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Did find a cover. And I'm going to share it with everybody right now. I'll change where my share is. Here we are. That looks very Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep, that is acceptable.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like this whole Saturday morning adventures thing. It seems to be its own little sub imprint here.
Mm-hmm.
Its own cover dress and everything. I like it.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. It looks very much like an old school VHS cover image for the most part.
Totally, yeah.
Yep.
Little old-fashioned rabbit ear TV in the corner logo.
Completely digging it. That is awesome.
You know, right above that, the TMNT Annual 2023. I mean, there's no cover artwork, and the artist is TBD, but it sounds like the concept involves quote-unquote realities colliding. Turtles come face-to-face with a threatening force from the future.
Interesting. Okay. Wonder if we're going to get some more Crisis on Infinite Turtles going on, because that's... You never know.
Because personally, I'd be 70% more likely to pick up that issue if that were the case.
That is very, very true. Also, any children that might be looking to check out Dungeons & Dragons, or if you want to try to get your child interested, Dungeons & Dragons Ultimate Pop-Up Book hardcover, page 351, written by Jim Zub, Mr. D&D himself. Matthew Reinhardt on the artwork chores for it. So, Pop-Up D&D for you, 351. And the official cookbook of Lilo and Stitch on that very same page. I picked up an unofficial Miyazaki cookbook at 5 and Below earlier this week, and I'm looking to check out a little bit of. All right, 352 has Darla, Josh Rubin and Brianna Tippett. Debut comic from director Josh Rubin follows the groundbreaking path he's forged through the horror genre with his films Werewolves Within and Scare Me. This one has Darla, who's is a determined mashup of Dead Zone and Requiem for a Dream that explores the disturbing underbelly of Americana through politics, health, psychosis, and murder. That sounds horror to me. All there, 352. Oh, wow. 355, Carl Barks story, Comics and Stories, original art edition hardcover. So any of you Carl Barks fans, this is all for you here. These pages are printed from proofs which are derived from the 7 by 10 inch photo negatives taken of the original line art between 1943 and 1947 of Carl Barks' works. That is something special right there.
14 by 20 dimensions.
Wow. That is amazing. Yeah, wow. Looking at the artwork. Whew. Those are meticulous scans. Something else indeed.
Yeah, this is stuff that probably has not seen print in a long time.
You are very, very right about that. And 359, this is offered again, but I will just point it out real quick. The OA American Daredevil, The Battles of Lev Gleason, along with Dead Waters, a Silver Streak novel, are both being offered again. One of which is the biography of Lev Gleason, the creator of the original Daredevil, and the other one is a novel set with Silver Streak as the main character, both on page 359. 369 brings us Jenny Wood's Paper Planes. Former best friends Dylan Render and Leighton Worthington attempt to successfully navigate their way through a summer camp for troubled youth. They both need a good evaluation of the camp. Otherwise, they'll be sent away, unable to attend high school with their friends. While participating in camp activities and chores, Dylan and Leighton re-examine the events that led up to the incident that's sent them to camp. The incident that threatens their futures and their friendship with each other. Nice slice of life comic by Jenny Wood.
Yep. Poignant coming-of-age narrative set at camp.
Indeed. And as we are now officially in spring, I'm thinking of summer, so camp for me. Why not? A novel by Alex Segura under the Marvel Press imprint on page 372. Aranya and Spider-Man 2099, Dark Tomorrow, in hardcover here. Teaming up Aranya from the main universe and the Spider-Man 2099 character for some action there. Full regular novel, and Alex Segura is no stranger to the characters. So yeah, nice to see him working on a novel for Marvel.
Yeah, it's an interesting pairing.
Absolutely. Two Hispanic spiders.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Kyle Hotz on 372 brings us Lamentation. I'm sorry, Colin Bunn brings us Lamentation. Kyle Hotz is on the cover. From the mind's eye of master storyteller Cullen Bunn, who's all over this catalog, and rising star Arjuna Sasina, comes a dark, glamorous tale of bone-splintering terror at the intersection of shadow and light, dream and nightmare, life and the grim specter of death himself. All for you here on Lamentation, part 3.
Yeah.
Let's get dark.
Yes, and Cullen Bunn can get dark with the best of them.
Yes, he can. Rick and Morty presents Maximum Overture, however, not dark.
No, not entirely, no.
I'm a train, Morty. I'm a train. No. Oh my God. What Rick playing the piano, or Rick Robot playing the piano as Rick and Morty try to avoid it. That's a concerto from hell right there. Jumbo size one shot on page 378. And Christopher Sabella's Blink in softcover form on page 379 as well. I was a fan of Mr. Sabella and his works. All right.
Another Loud House soft cover of original comics on page 383. Happy to see that after several months and when Paper Cuts was completely missing from the previews catalog. It seems they've righted their ship, and here they are again.
Excellent. Good to see. And then on 384, Smurf Tales, Volume 7. Giant Smurfs and Other Tales. Because the Smurfs are always around somewhere.
They certainly are. And, Brian Deemer and family are going to be taking a trip to Belgium coming up soon.
Oh, nice.
Which is like the homeland of the Smurfs. That's where Pio, a.k.a. Pierre Cullifort, the cartoonist who created them, was originally from. He was telling me about there's a certain public walk where there are like certain buildings where there's like a series of murals that have been painted there that dedicated to well-known Belgian BD characters. And
oh, wow.
The Smurfs are among them. So hopefully he will send pictures.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome. 384 brings us Bandita Dominican superhero and Ruka Chicano superhero. Ruka is the first East LA Chicana superhero, has instant karma powers, while Bandita Dominican is a gunslinger from New York. So two flavors of Latina super heroines for you on 384.
Both written by Caden Phoenix and published by Phoenix Studios.
One would assume that's how they got their name. 385 brings us some classic Wally Wood stuff as well. We get Classic Sci-Fi Comics Softy, Volume 6. We go back in time and visit a bunch of Wally Wood's work from the 50s. All right, we're back to the Ennis page, 389, so we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yep. And for the record, that's that battle action thing is issue 1 of a 5-issue miniseries, and it's going to be different creators in each issue.
Excellent.
So if Chris doesn't want to miss any Ennis action, he just really needs to buy this issue. But upcoming issues will feature Torrin Grunbeck, Chris Burnham, Rob Williams, Dan Abnett, and more.
Yep. All terrific creators to work with there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Once again, that was on 389. 390, Benjamin Morse brings us We Are Scarlet Twilight. It's 1938 and time to meet our hero, Captain Lancet. He's a Golden Age all-American crime buster who's about to accidentally create the world's greatest villain. He'll need to adjust to a strange new world, one that resembles Fritz Lang's Metropolis, and some cyberpunk dystopia sprinkled in, if he wants to overthrow the totalitarian vampire cult that now dominates the world. Awesome premise.
All right. Bring
Yeah.
on those Golden Age mystery men.
Yeah, absolutely. 390 for that. And 393, I know we're fans of Carl Kessel and you're fans of Impossible Jones, and we get Impossible Jones and Captain Lightning, #1.
Yep. Captain Lightning is one of the first superheroes Carl Kiesel made up as a kid. And now he's finally brought him to an adult project. Yep. So this is the latest in a series of Impossible Jones stories that he kickstarted first and that Scout Comics is now bringing to the public in just a normal 7x10 format.
Fantastic.
And let's step back quick to page 392 to remind people who've listened to the show for a while that our friend Dave Dwonch has a miniseries coming out from Scout.
Yes.
It's called Banshees, and issue number 2 is listed here, co-written by Dave and Jessica Balboni with art by Riccardo Facchini.
Very, very good point, and thank you for pointing it out. Quicksand, #1, by Jonathan Hendrick. After a mysterious hole opens up in the Egyptian, horrific creatures climb out and wreak havoc on a nearby city. They retreat as quickly as they arrived, leaving the planet in shock by this unfathomable event. A team of elite specialists from around the globe called Canary One sent after the monsters to discover more about them. This sounds very Pacific Rim, to be entirely honest with you. That's why I had to point it out, and it's called Quicksand, and they literally are from the Egyptian desert, so that makes sense. 95.
Call it Sahara Rim.
There you go. Why not? I will now that you mention it. Almost back to tomorrow's, so I know we're getting down in here. Spotlight on Feeder #1, which I will yet again point out is the second Terminator homage that we've gotten in this catalog.
It's interesting the patterns you notice.
I know. Page 408. Lee Kidd was the most famous action hero movie hero of the 80s, but he's fallen on hard times. And Lee Kidd, with his life in a downward spiral, Kidd has become a shadow of his former self, turning to a life of crime as an enforcer for a local crime boss. But when he's given a new job, can he bring himself to complete it, or is he being given a chance to change his ways? Interesting. So it's like what if Arnold Schwarzenegger had gone down a path of crime?
That is interesting.
Yeah. Page 408 for that one. Feeder. And James Bond Archives No Time to Die edition. I'll point out as well. Page 409, giving us plenty of James Bond artwork, including stuff from the Casino Royale spoof from 1967, which doesn't get brought up a lot these days, especially since Casino Royale was made for real in more recent times.
Mm-hmm. But yet there was at one time back in the 60s when Peter Sellers was James Bond.
Yes, indeed. All right, we're back at tomorrow's. Anything before manga, sir?
I kind of don't think so.
Okie dokie. In that case, manga tis. Unless something really screams at me before then, but I don't believe so. Because again, it's been a heady catalog, and I'm happy to see as many good comics as we have. All right, onward into the manga section we go. And I will try to yet again find the comic that screamed, the manga that screams the most out to me.
The title that is most clearly an unwieldy literal translation of a Japanese sentence.
You better believe it. My instant death ability is so overpowered, no one in this other world stands a chance against me. Volume 1, page 466. This is a J novel. So
don't forget the random Alpha Omega at the end of the title there.
Oh yes, there we go. It's a translated novel from Yen Press. I'm not even going to read the solicitation because I basically just did by telling you the title. And I'm moving on from there and finding something else. But page 466, if you want to check that insanity out. That is a mouthful and a half. Let's see. Volume 16. I always love pointing this one out. So I'm a spider. So what? Volume 16 of that one. So there's a bunch more before then that you can certainly check out. But I'll mention page 472, The Horizon by J.H. A world where everything has been lost, a boy and a girl alone together, a spark of hope kindled between them. All they can do is move forward. But against broken adults and devastating despair, how long would they be able to keep going? This is a poignant tale from J.H., author of the acclaimed Korean comic, The Boxer, out of Ise Press on page 472, The Horizon.
A new imprint of Yen.
Indeed.
Dedicated to Korean content.
No. Expanding their horizons for sure.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's about it for me. Anything in the merchandise field?
I did dog-ear a couple of things, Ian.
Yogi.
Okay. I challenge you not to buy them.
Okay.
All right, let's see. First thing, on page 28, I know you've got plenty enough pop figures, but they went ahead and made a composite Superman one.
Oh my God.
It's cute as all get out.
Yes, it is. Wow. Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Half Superman, half Batman, all adorable.
Yes, indeed. Does it glow in the dark, or is that green just part of it?
I think the green is just part of it. It does look like the shade of green that usually does glow in the dark, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Nice.
Yep. It doesn't say anything about day glow in the solicit, though.
All right.
That's an opportunity missed. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
Then page 32, we've got some great-looking Fraggle figurines.
Ooh.
Yep, there's a couple of doozers at the top of a 2-pack there of Cotterpin and the Boss Doozer.
Paging Katie Cook.
Oh, yes. I don't think... and then you got Gobo and Red. It looks like they've got articulated ankles there. And at the bottom, Uncle Traveling Matt. I mean, Katie at least needs that one.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Nice.
And then turning the page one more time to page 34, Animaniacs toys.
Oh, boy. Oh.
A serious temptation. They're $20 each.
Ooh,
and below that, we got in black and white Munsters action figures. Herman, Lily, and Grandpa.
Oh, wow. I'm glad they're in black and white. That really adds to it. Wow. The Sex Pistols directly underneath them.
Yeah. Johnny Rotten and Sid Vicious.
Yep. Wow.
Oh.
Ooh.
Hats off to Reaction there.
Yes. 35. If Shane was still on, I'd love to see if he's thinking about getting these G.I. Joe Reaction Wave 5 figures in the old school style.
If you brought it up to him, he would immediately bring out 4 different variants of each from underneath his desk.
I'm sure he would. Most of which were received from Target.
A few little temptations there. But that's all I had, though, from the merch section.
And I'll point out this one last one here. 112 Collective Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Deluxe figure set. And boy, oh boy, are these deluxe.
Yep.
Esco Toys. Beautiful.
That is probably the most accurate adaptation of Eastman and Laird's early art style that I've ever seen in 3 dimensions.
I would agree with you. Yeah. I would completely agree with you. Yeah, that looks terrific on M36. And the articulation looks like it's down great, and I wish there were black and white variants, to be honest with you.
And I wish they weren't $100 a piece.
Well, yes, that too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated movie that's going to be coming out. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. Yeah, I'm pleased to report we just got some new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Christmas ornaments to sell here at the barn.
Nice. Bebop and Rocksteady are going to be voiced by Seth Rogen and John Cena.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Key and Peele. That would be fun too.
That would also be cool. Yes. If it wasn't them, then yes, I would say that would be my second choice right there. Nice.
So is Rogen going to be Bebop and Cena Rocksteady, or the other way around?
I think it's Bebop and then Rocksteady. Yes,
because Rogen's already had some experience playing a warthog, so might as well continue.
Exactly. Just slide over to the next warthog. Exactly.
Yep, next warthog up.
All right, I think that's a bolt shot. Excellent.
Indeed. This was this was a challenging catalog to get through, but I think we acquitted ourselves with aplomb.
Absolutely the case, and you've got a few days left, everybody, to put your selections in. So make sure to do so at wherever you buy your comics. And if we said some things that you didn't realize the first time, then make your addendums and do it now. All right. Reminder yet again, Murd, on the deadline for submissions for the best ofs.
You got to get those ballots into bestof, BESTOF, at comicgeekspeak.com by 11:59 p.m. EST on Sunday, April 2nd. Remember, vote for one nominee in at least 12 of the 16 categories, please.
Yep. I have already submitted my choices and cannot wait to see what everybody's are.
Yep, and Shane has done the same.
Excellent. Fantastic. All right. And speaking of Shane, somebody gets to be Shane in a moment. But before then, a reminder that once again, patreon.com/comicgeekspeak is where donations lie. And we thank you so much for all that continued support that you have brought us. Once again, a reminder that if you do sign up for the Patreon, you will have access to that RSS feed for any early releases or subsequent audio that happens to be released there in one form or another. So just a little further incentive for anybody who decides to sign up there. Patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. We thank you for that continued support of the show in any way that you can give it. And I am bringing up the end credit music now for Murd to be Shane. And here we are.
All right. Shane stuff, go. If you'd like to send us an email, you can email at comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. and send in your Best of Awards ballots to bestof at comicgeekspeak.com. If you'd rather leave us a voicemail so we might be able to play it on the air, the number to call there is 267-702-6642. You can like us on Facebook and also join our Comic Geek Speak super group there, where you can talk back about this and various other episodes, and also just start up random discussion threads about comic geek things with your fellow CGS listeners and fans. You can also go to the comicforums.vanillacommunity.com to do pretty much the same thing. And in both of those places, you can find the slate of nominees for the Best of Awards. Hint, hint. You can go to youtube.com/comicgeekspeak to see the video version of many of our recent episodes, including this very one. It's a great way to follow along through the previews catalog with us as we make our selections, and you can make yours. We give special thanks, as always, to those of you who have monetarily supported the show recently or in the distant past. We truly appreciate it, and the show would not be what it is today without your support. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
90s aren't over until I say they are.